So the proposed changes on the global labs. The developers want to know, us the players. So guys in chat, your opinion matters. So please voice your opinion. And we should encourage the other creators to do so as well. Because like, you know, they see this. I did get good feedback on this that Perlibus does at least, they are at least hearing the podcast. So like they are looking at it. So like just bear that in mind. The 3 changes that are proposed are change 1 is okay, so we're gonna add protections.
Wait, one second. Sorry. A little slower than usual, sorry. Okay,
You're
sorry,
good.
go. 1.
Okay.
Yep, go.
So the first change is we're gonna add protections to each class, but we're going to put gaps in the protections between the frontal guards and the super armors, and then we're going to add skills that will penetrate either frontal guard or super armor for various classes in the game. It could basically play through protection a lot like reps. Okay.
That's what PA was suggesting after
that's
feedback.
that's the first suggestion.
Yeah, one of them. Yeah.
The second suggestion is to take classes that are many of the classes in the game and take their super armors and change them to frontal guards. Okay. So instead of like Berserker, like Succession Berserker being fully super armor protected, they would have frontal guards instead. Well, not all frontal guards, but they would change certain key skills to frontal guards. The third change,
suck for sages. Anyways,
the third change is to keep all of the current changes on the global labs, but also give every all the changes we talked about last time.
Yeah.
But to also give every class in the game a grab.
Ooh.
Okay. Now, they also put a disclaimer and said that they would have to adjust mobility on some of the classes if they were to implement grabs on every single class in the game. But those are the 3 options as it stands. I would like each of us to run a poll in each of our respective chats and tell us what the outcome of the poll is, so that we get a good idea of what each community kind of thinks of the changes, whether it be KR or the NAEU community, etc. But like, let's discuss it first.
I'm translator. But they're gonna do polls, guys.
Well, let's discuss it first. Let's discuss it first. So you should translate that stuff.
I should translate. 얌면님 준비되셨나요?
네, 저는 준비됐습니다.
네, 그 이제 PA에서 이제 저희 방송 얌면이랑 여태까지 해온 방송을 좀 보고 있다는 소식은 있었대요.
All right, so guys, I know we're rehashing a lot of this stuff, and he's translating it right now.
줬잖아요, 약간 저희 반응을 듣고, 제가 플레이어 유저베이스를 반응을 듣고, 뭐 1번은 이제 그거였잖아요. 그 모든 클래스가 가드는 있는데 그 가드 사이사이에 쿨다운을 늘리든지 갭을 시키고 그걸 뚫을 수 있는 클래스를 준다. 1번. 근데 2번은 모든 슈퍼아머가 뭐 포워드 가든지 뭐로 바꾼다 했고, 3번은 이제 이번 변화 들어오는 걸 다 킵을 하지만 모든 클래스가 그랩이 생긴다. 요 3개였잖아요.
맞아요.
그래서 일단 요 3개 위주로 일단 의논을 시작하고 싶대요. Okay. So did you want his opinion right now, or are you going to start it off about these changes? Or
let's
these
go ahead,
suggestions from PA?
Well, let's get Jason. Do you want to give your opinion of the changes first? Jason is one of our EU representatives.
I think he knows he's muted.
Oh.
Does he not know?
My bad. Okay, sorry.
Okay,
let's get Jason first. Let's get Jason's opinion first on the EU community. Like, Jason, did you ask around in the EU community? How do you feel about the changes personally? How do you feel that the community has received them?
Yeah, I asked around a little bit. From what I heard, the only logical solution in terms of like if they want to go with one of the 3, then from what I heard is mostly 2, like option 2, like reducing SAs, getting a bit more front guards, making front guard matter a little bit more. Because depending on what class you play, your front guard is done in 1 skill right now. So increasing the tankiness on the front guard a little bit. However, my personal opinion is that it wouldn't even require like a full rework like they suggested, right? I don't think you need to fully rework the entire way of how protections and CCs are currently in the game. Just like buff the lower classes and nerf the top performing classes right now. Because I think a lot of classes are actually fine. That's like my personal opinion. But otherwise, from what I heard, if they want to take one of the 3 suggestions, then everyone I've heard saying so far was 2. Option 3 would just be absolute like lunacy or something going on. It would be months being completely imbalanced game, because like the moment they add all grabs, they want to revisit like mobility and stuff, they're not going to be able to balance it, in my opinion. I don't think PA is capable of balancing it. where if every class gets a grab. And it would like remove so much of the class identity from certain classes like Musa, Meiwa, Sorceress or something. Like if you want to balance them having a grab, you would have to remove so much of the identity of being perma iframe or like very much like moving the entire time that I think the class would just lose its like unique identity.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna say in Korean. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
그래서 EU 유럽 측에서는 연변님 지금 다는 아니지만 대중적으로는 2번을 선호한대요. 굳이 이 변화가 들어올 거면 2번을 선호하고 있대요. 유럽에서는 모든 이제 슈퍼하머가 약간 가드로 바뀌는 방향. 만약 하나 뭔가 바뀌어야 된다면, 하지만 우리 챔피언 제이슨 방송인 개인 의견은 이렇게 큰 변화가 필요한지 애초에 그냥 좀 가드나 뭐 이런 슈퍼하머 약한 클래스를 좀 올려주고 너무 센 애들 낮추고 조금씩 바뀌어도 되는데, 만약에 이 세 개 중 하나를 선택해야 되면 3번은 절대 아닌 것 같대요. 모든 클래스가 그랩이 생긴다. 그러면 일단 밸런싱이 너무 오래 걸릴 것 같고, 일단 펄어비스에서 절대로 이거 밸런싱 할 수 없을 것 같대요. 클래스 각각 뭐 이동기나 이런 게 너무 달라가지고 일단 EU 측에서 그 얘기를 했습니다. Okay. And then are we going NA next or Korea and then NA, Mr. Tim?
Actually,
Lou? Oh, what's up?
Can I add one more small thing? That I forgot. I think that if you go with option 2, a lot of classes don't need a grab anymore, in my opinion, right? Because a lot of because it says they're also going to remove SA block, right? From what I understood, they're going to remove the SA block. And with that, a lot of classes like Musa, Meiwa, Sorg, in my opinion, don't need a grab anymore. Because their current complaint is, hey, we can't CC SA block classes, but I don't think they need it anymore after that, if there is no more SA block, in my opinion.
Okay. 그래서 EU 측에서 만약에 2번으로 가는 게 또 좋은 생각이라는 게, 만약에 2번 이제 슈퍼하머가 이제 다 약간 방향성 가드로 바뀐다면 그래브의 필요성도 좀 떨어질 것 같다는 의견을 냈네요. 지금 개인적인 의견이에요. 이거는 모든 유럽 사람들이 아니라. Wait, was that Europe opinion or was that your personal opinion just now?
That one was my personal one.
아,
like,
죄송해요.
if you do option
그거는
2,
유럽
you
측이
don't need a lot
아니고
of grabs anymore.
우리 제이슨 챔피언 제이슨 유럽 방송인께서 개인 의견을 낸 겁니다. 네. Okay. Mr. Blue, you're gonna go NA first. You hear Korea and then NA at the end.
Okay. Yeah. No. We can do. Let's do KR first. Let's do
Okay.
KR first.
그래서
I've
얀비암님은
heard-
이제 일단 유럽 측을 먼저 들었고.
I've heard basically everyone's opinion on this, so I'll try to voice everyone's opinions here.
선호한다.
I've talked about it with enough creators
개인적인
now.
의견은 이렇게 큰 변화 1, 2, 3번 다 필요 없다. 이런 방향이었고.
If you guys have a different opinion, please voice it in the chat so that Perlobus can see it.
안 된다. 밸런싱 절대 안 된다. 이런 방향이었어가지고 일부 슈아예요? 아, 일부구나. 아무튼
전체를
오케이.
없애진 않고.
아, 오케이. 일부 슈아. 오케이. 예. 그런데 한국 측이나 이제 또 얀비안님의 개인 의견은 어떻게 되세요? 한국
일단,
반응을 좀 아시는지, 그 다음에 이제 얀비안님 개인 의견.
일단 저번에 제가 투표를 한번 했습니다. 제 방송에서.
아, 오케이.
일단 투표 결과는
그랬고.
이제 2번이 절반, 그리고 나머지
유럽은 똑같네.
절반은 3개 전부 마음에 안 든다. 이 의견이 제 방은 반반을
절반이
이뤘고요.
2번이었고 나머지 절반 뭐였다고?
나머지는
뭐였다고요?
1, 2, 3번 모두 마음에 들지 않는다.
다 필요 없다.
네, 다 필요 없다.
It's the exact same as you. 네, 알겠습니다.
그리고 제 의견은
그다음에 이제
저는 굳이 고른다면 2번이었습니다. 제 의견은. 이게 그래도
왜요?
패치하는 목적성 자체가 이제 PVP만을 위한 게 아니라 아무래도 사냥 PVE 밸런스 패치 기준으로 된 PVE 밸런스 패치의 연장선이잖아요. 지금 패치는.
네.
그래서 그 패치의 목적성에 제일 잘 부합하는 패치는 2번 패치라 생각하고요. 그리고
오케이.
또 근데 2번 패치가 무작정 마음에 드냐? 그건 또 아니에요. 2번 패치 내용 안에 마음에 안 드는 부분이 좀 있었어요. 저도 이제 첫 번째로 마음에 안 드는 거는 PVP 피해량이 감소된다. 2번을 해주는 대신
뭐가 감소된다고요? 한 번.
PVP에서의 피해량을 감소시킨다는 문구가 있습니다. 이제 그리고 슈퍼하머 이제 발키리 워리어, 노바, 가디언 같은 캐릭터의 가드 올리시 뒷부분
Remember the option
슈퍼하머
4?
상태. 이제 그 슈퍼하머를 없애겠다. 이런 문구가 또 포함되어 있었어요 이번에.
There's a number of option 4s that I proposed.
그래서 그것 때문에 무작정 2번을 하면은 오히려 안 될 것 같고 일단 첫 번째 PVP 피해량이 감소된다는
Which option 4 are you talking
안
about?
했으면 좋겠고 만약 입원한다면 그 뒷방막 슈아는 그냥 무작정 슈퍼하면 없애겠다가 아니라 다른 캐릭터 이제 현재 뒷방막 캐릭 조정을 좀 어떻게 할 건지 그거에 대해서 말해주고
그러니까
했으면
뒷방막이 포워드 가드죠.
아니요 이제 포워드
뒷방막이
가드
뭐지?
상태에서 슈퍼하머까지 있는 거.
그렇구나. 오케이, 네.
아무튼 그거에 대한 그거를 이용하는 캐릭터들에 대한 조정이 좀 어떻게 될 건지에 대한 언급이 있어야 한다 생각해요 저는. 만약에 입원을 한다면 이번 목적 자체는 좋다고 봅니다. 저는.
Okay, what did he say?
Okay, yeah, hang on, yeah. So he said, first of all, he did do a poll from the KR side, and the poll results were half of them were number 2 when he first. Half the poll results was number 2 about the getting rid of most or some essays and changing it around to like forward guards and whatnot, and then the other half was kind of exactly like you, like why even have 1, 2, and 3 changes? Like that's too extreme of a change. All of them suck. That was how Korea was split. Either number 2 or not 1, 2, and 3 at all. None of those. None of the above. Now, Yambyam's personal opinion as a really experienced PvP player, he's saying personally he's leaning more towards number 2. He doesn't agree with 100% though, because he's saying that the purpose of this extended patch feedback, which is kind of going up back, like they're adding stuff now from the original changes was number 3, but they said they would, how about 1, 2, and 3 this time? And he thinks of all the options, number 2 seems to be the most appropriate response, which is why he's leaning towards number 2. But he says the problem is that it's going to be cutting down PvP damage overall, and he doesn't like that. And he's also saying Valk's, Warriors, and Nova's essays being gone was kind of touched upon
Guys, please vote.
very vaguely
Vote,
in the Korean
vote,
text
vote.
of the patch notes. And he said straight up, even though he's leaning towards option number 2, he's saying option number 2 is still not the best solution, because they did not address about the forward guard and 360 SA classes and how that they need to address that first before even considering moving on with some sort of option number 2 change. And that was his personal opinion on that. But Korean
okay.
General said either number 2 or none of them. It's half and half split.
Okay. All right, so I've talked to a lot of the NA creators, and I've seen a lot of what the community has to say on this. I would say that the majority of the community would like option 2 for us. So the vast majority of the community is going to like option 2, and the bigger creators typically say option 2. I would caution that I actually think that it's probably a hybrid option. I don't really like any of the 3 options necessarily, like up front. I actually kind of like the idea of giving non-grab classes a way to break through frontal guards in a way. Sounds good to me. Maybe not breaking.
What did you say? Your personal opinion was what? One more time.
No,
I got the first
good.
part.
You're good. I think that non-grab class. I think I like number 1, but I think it's a hybrid. Like I think that at best we could go with a hybrid option. Like 1 or number 2 are good,
Gotcha.
but
Yep.
like neither of them is a good fit. I'm gonna be honest with you. Number 3 you cannot do. You just can't do number 3, and it's not because of the grabs. It's because adding that many protections to all of the classes in the game and then giving everyone grabs essentially just makes it so that PvP comes down to grabs. No one can CC each other unless you have a grab, and that just simply won't work. So number 3 just won't work. Number 1, I like and I don't like. I like it because I like the idea of giving non-grab classes a way to break through frontal guards, so that they have something that can break through CC a lot. Like grabs can break through CC, right? Grabs can grab people out of stuff. So like maybe it doesn't break through a super armor, but giving someone a skill that is available once every 15 seconds that could CC someone through a frontal guard, I think is a win for a lot of classes in the game, like Awakening Witch. I think that a lot of people like number 2 because just changing super armors to frontal guards seems like a good option, but I would caution that is really only a good option if you are a flanking assassin class. It's just that simple. I think that removing the super armored frontal guard on a lot of the classes really hurts their identity as a class, or like hurts their ability to stand and block like they should be able to. And I know that Champion Jason doesn't mind maybe losing his frontal guarded super armor, but like I really do think that it would hurt the identity of Valkyrie or Guardian, or any of the other block, especially a Succession Nova, if they could be CC'd out of their very powerful blocks. That being said, I think the solution there is to buff frontal guards significantly. Frontal guards should be able to block a tremendous amount of damage, not just 1 or 2 archer skills. They need to just buff how much frontal guards can actually do, because right now they're useless, especially in large scale PvP. They are completely useless. They break in like 1 or 2 skills, and that's essentially it. Changing super armors to frontal guards sounds like a good idea on paper, and the core of my argument is this, is that it really only helps the flanking assassin classes who can get behind a frontal guard easily, right? Classes that that are not mobile enough to jump behind a frontal guard like dramatically lose on this trade, especially classes like Awakening Witch is a good example, and I've played a lot of it, so I'll use that as an example. You're never going to be able to CC anybody, and you won't be able to trade because everyone will be trading frontal guards into you. It's great on a ninja, right? So I'm sure Armin loves that change. It's great on a Sork. It's great on a Kuno. It's great on on an Awakening Dracania. It's great on a Lan. It's great on all of the flanking assassins who can jump behind people. But simply changing frontal guards to super armors, I think, kind of just destroys the fundamentals of some of the classes. So like, I'm not sure that is by itself is going to be enough. Also, removing the super armor frontal guard is again just a buff to flanking assassins. That is a nerf to frontline classes. That is simply a buff to flanking assassins, and that's just how it is. Right? Making frontal guards really powerful is also a buff to ranged classes who can break frontal guards really easily. The solution here, I think, is you need to dramatically buff frontal guards. Frontal guards need to be able to block actual amounts of damage, like meaningful amounts of damage, so you can block incoming damage that your allies might take. You know, you can just jump in front of your allies and block a bunch of damage, or you could meaningfully absorb a decent amount of damage as well. And then I think that, like, overall, I wouldn't mind having a skill that would break through a frontal guard. I don't know about skills breaking through super armor. Seems a little over the top to me. But skills that would break through a frontal guard, as long as it's on...
By definition, it's no longer super armor then, right?
Well, grabs can break through a super armor.
Scrap.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so like
grabs only,
basically, only grabs. But like
skill can
adding more skills that might be able to do that. But like, again, I don't really like the idea of breaking through a super armor. But like, I think that there's counterplay to being able to break through a frontal guard. And that's like CC someone through a frontal guard. And I like that, as long as you put it on like a 15-second cooldown, because grabs are on 15-second cooldowns universally. Like, as long as you put that kind of a skill on a 15-second cooldown, I think that is a reasonable like trade-off for the non-grab classes in the game. As a whole though, let's see, I ran a poll in my chat, and it looks like, again, everybody looks like they like option number 2 is pretty cleanly the favorite. But again, I would say that most people, there's a lot of chatters that are saying that they would like a hybrid option, or like maybe they don't mind having a grab given to every class in the game, but you can't have option 3. So if you give, like, maybe you have option 2 and option 3, or option 1 and option 2, but like one option is, if they had to choose, it's 2.
Okay, got it. All right. I'm gonna confirm one thing before I translate over to Korean. Yeah. So TLDR on the frontal guard part, you said buff the damage amount, like meaningful damage for the frontal guards, blocking, but then also adding in penetration skills to be able to counteract that too at the same time, right? Like one skill that could maybe penetrate a frontal guard once every 15, 20 seconds, something like that. That's what you said on that one statement, right? I just need to reiterate. Okay. All right.
That's my idea, by the way. It's not necessarily the views.
Yeah, that was your idea. Got it. Okay. 자, 이제 북미 측에서는 이거를 조금
I just want to make sure that
빨리
I just want to make sure that my ideas don't get misconstrued as North America's ideas, because I don't represent everyone in NA. Chat is a better representation.
압도적으로 선호하는 옵션인데 다른 북미 크리에이터님들도 넘버 2가 좋다고 하셨고요. 이제 블루님의 개인 의견은 한 가지가 너무 약간 굳이 할 거면은 1, 2번 약간 하이브리드 섞어서 뭔가 밸런싱을 해야 되고 3번은 절대 안 된다. 또 똑같은 의견이 나왔죠. 대신 안 되는 이유가 그랩 문제뿐만 아니라 이제 그 프로텍션을 다 추가했는데 그랩까지 추가한다면 이제 PVP는 무조건 그냥 그랩전이 된다. 무조건 잡기, 그랩으로 이긴다. 끝. 이제 모든 전략이 다 나가는 거죠.
재미가
그게
없어져.
너무 싫대요. 3번은. 그거는 이제 블루님의 개인 의견이었고요. 예를 들자면 원하는 원하는 체인지 하나 중에는 이제 포워드 가딩을 그 이제 앞막기를 좀 딜량을 더 많이 막을 수 있게끔 강화를 시키되 다른 클래스들한테 그 포워드 가드를 뚫을 수 있는 뭐 15초마다 한 번 쓸
Yo,
수 있는 스킬,
Wutaru.
뚫을 수 있는 스킬 하나 정도
Wutaru, thanks so much
포워드 가드가 전체적으로
for the raid, big man. I really appreciate it. I love you. Wutaru is one of our best male VTubers in the category and the very best shy to play our game. He has the best in class title. Thanks so much, man. I really appreciate it. We're talking about the PvP changes with the with Koreans
특히 좀
and also EU.
대전에서는
United
역할이
Nations.
사라질 거고 이제 플랭킹이나 약간 어쌔신 클래스 스타일이 너무 세진다. 무조건 이동기가 있는 사람 무조건 이긴다. 이런 식으로 갈까봐 좀 두렵고 그래서 이제 그냥 뭐 예를 들자면 뭐 섞어가지고 뭐 FG 포워드 가드가 훨씬
Hope you had a great
세지는데
stream,
대신
buddy.
그걸 뚫을 수 있는 스킬을 15초마다 한 번 쓸 수 있는 뭐 예를 들어서 무슨 스킬을 추가하는 게 좋을 것 같다고 하네요. 그건 블루의 개인 의견이었고 그 전에는 북미 측에서는 넘버 2가 제일 압도적인데요. There's one opinion from a Korean user in chat. They said, I am a Korean server user. I don't understand why this discussion is being held. I think it's a disgusting fight incitement by Pearl Abyss to semi-forcibly obtain users' consent by adding 2 more serious plans to the bad plan. So your point is they're giving us the illusion of choice and that's why you don't like it, right? 우리민님? I guess that might kind of make sense.
Some people are never lucky.
Thoughts on that,
Some
Blue?
people are never happy. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I don't think it's an illusion of choice. I think it is a good move by them politically. Like, tactfully, it was a good move. Because, like, we are all very unhappy, and they're like, fine, what do you want to do? Right? That way, if it gets fucked up, it's our fault. It's not
It's
bad.
an illusion of
Are they
it.
gonna
'Cause
follow
they only
through
get
on
3
it?
choices.
Yeah, the question is, well, I'll be honest. I would rather them ask us, and, like, I feel like our feedback is being heard, than them
progress.
just blindly adding changes to the game and have us feel like we're just talking into a void. Is my
I mean,
like
the thing is, it's very easy.
but
It's very easy to find out now if they actually stand true to their word, right? Because if they do it like the arena of Asha roundtable they had, where people gave feedback and nothing like that happened at all, we're gonna find it out. Because so far, if they don't do option 2, right? Like if they go with option 1 or 3, it's a little bit flawed, right? Because they say, hey, we want your feedback, and so far everyone has like option 2, maybe a little bit of a hybrid of 1 and 2, right? But if they go through with like only option 1 or only option 3 or something, then it's just once again clear that they don't listen, right? Even though they say, hey, we want your feedback, they just scrap it, right?
Right.
Let me ask Yamiam about that
go
real
ahead,
quick.
yeah.
야미야님 이제 여기서 가장 중요한 포인트 또 하나가 이제 이 변화도 중요하긴 한데 펄어비스의 태도가 중요한 것 같아요. 여기서 이제 약간 1, 2, 3번 선택권을 줬잖아요. 반응으로.
맞죠.
우리가 3번이 3번밖에 없을 때는 선택권이 없기 때문에 그래서 2번 또 이제 반응을 통해서 만약에 한국 측에서도 약간 절반은 2번 또는 다 싫다였잖아요. 북미도 2번이었고 2번 또는 약간 1, 2번 섞인 거 3번이 이상하다. 유럽 측에서도 3번은 절대 불가능하고 2번을 좀 선호한다. 그래서 전체적으로 굳이 선택해야 되면 약간 굳이 선택을 해야 된다면 2번을 선호했는데 이번에 변경 중에서 2번을 아예 무시하면 또다시 예전처럼 그 완전 유저 베이스를 무시한다는 반응이 나올 것 같다고. 어쨌든 요거는 요 반응은 좋은 것 같다네요. 어떻게 생각하세요?
저도 생각해요. 이번에 저희 인벤이라고 그러죠. 저희
I don't think
Yeah,
mouse move helps
커뮤니티
인벤.
사이트
for the stationary classes, banana.
거기서도 반응은 2번이 대체로 많았어요. 저희도 다른 의견도 많긴 했지만 대부분 2번이어서 아마 2번 그대로 흘러갈 것 같은데 만약 그거에 안 된다면 사람들은 또 화가 많이 나겠죠.
네,
한 번 더 실망하고 왜 물어봤냐고 이럴 거면.
그렇죠. 애초에 왜?
그래서
네, so 네.
얘기하셔도 됩니다.
So yeah, Yamiam agrees. He's saying that if he has a strong feeling that they will go with number 2, since every region or most regions, sorry, we are missing a lot of regions. We do recognize that. Sorry, everybody who's watching. We do recognize not all regions are being represented right now at the moment, but most regions are. or some regions are, and I think I'm going to go off the assumption that the other regions kind of agree with what is being said here to a certain degree. So if they do not go with number 2,
Nippon,
which
this is the
basically
United
only
Nations of
option that
BDO.
has some sort of positive
All of the
reaction
regions
from
are talking to
NA,
each other right now.
EU and
Well,
Korea all
NA,
combined.
EU, and KR.
Number 2 seems to be the only semi-positive reaction where we would be okay if we had to choose with number 2. Right? So if they don't go number 2, he's saying that then it's another shitstorm and everyone's going to be... They're going to lose all faith, basically. That's not what he said, but that's what... But he's saying that
Okay,
Koreans will
Roach.
just be upset again and saying, why the frick did you ask in the first place? Yeah.
Mhm.
Getting hungry now. Blue's eating something.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, like, they have to listen to us at this time, right?
Yeah.
And I fear that, like, what they don't understand is there's none of those are actually a correct option.
Can I ask something?
Yep.
To everybody, and also 얌얌이한테도 물어볼게요. 그냥 as kind of like a newbie, right? 4 months in, barely hit past 700 gear score, did not get to experience open PvP a lot. I only did AOS a lot. Number 3 sounds fun to me, but I'm sure a lot of new players that don't, like, you guys are way more experienced, okay? But so there's zero way that number 3 would work, is what you're saying, right? Because it'd be
Correct.
just all based on grabbing, right?
Yeah, everybody is fully protected all the time, but everybody has a grab. So you're basically just
But
only
wouldn't
gonna
it,
be
like, in
grabbing
my
each
head,
other.
I know it's flawed, but in my head, it's kind of like, yeah, everyone has protections, but unless you're really good at it, you're not always going to be protected, right?
Yeah, you will.
It's not like a monkey
And
brain. Oh, you think so?
faster grab and better movement wins.
Yeah.
The class with the fastest grab and movement wins automatically by default.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like grabs by itself right now are already very different, right? You can't compare like a Valkyrie grab and a LAN grab or something, right? Like the difference is between worlds, right? And a LAN would always win there, as an example, right?
Oh, okay.
And if you
So,
combine
and
it then with the
it'd be
good
like, if you try
movement,
to change that, it'll take way too much. We're going to take way too long to even try to balance that, was the point, right? 오케이.
Yeah.
그래서 제가 물어봤던 건 저는 약간 누비니까 특히 PVP 오픈월드에서는 얌얌님 제가 말한 건 3번이 왜 그렇게 불가능한지 왜냐면 누비한테는 3번이 좀 재밌게 들리거든요. 모든
Those are the
사람이 막
changes proposed
다
right there.
똑같은 스킬이 있고 다 프로텍션 되게
Class
방어적인
changes at
스킬이
the
다
bottom.
비슷하게 있고 그랩을 잘 쓰면 이길 수 있다. 근데 뉴비 측에서는 그렇게 이 오해나 저처럼 이제 몇 년 동안 쌓아놓은 PVP 경험이 없는 사람들한테는 그게 괜찮을 것 같은데 그래서 그걸 좀 설명해달라 했거든요. 한국말로도 한번 설명해 주시겠어요? 3번이 왜 절대 안 되는지.
한 번이 안 되는 이유. 저도 처음 들었을 땐 되게 재밌을 것 같았어요. 막 소설어가 밤가 쓰면서 잡기하고
Yeah. Start freaking grabbing someone out. Yeah, sounds freaking
처음에는
crazy.
재밌을 것 같아. 막 게임
예.
난리 나서 재밌을 것 같아. 그래서 생각까지는 했는데 이게 이제 길게 보면은 게임이 되게 루즈해져요. 서로 잡기각만 보게 되니까 되게 엄청 할린다. 한 가지 이제 PVP라는 거는 여러 가지
네.
변수를 만들어서 하는 거잖아요. 근데
네.
이제 변수 창출이라는 것 자체가 잡기 하나로 국한이 돼 버리면
He's popping off.
게임이
Yeah.
되게 엄청 루즈해집니다. 그냥 서로 그것만 노리면은 제 잡기 노리고 있구나 이 예측이 갈 정도로 진짜 그 눈치 싸움이 돼 버려요.
그리고
요즘-
모든 행위가 잡기에 대한 반응과 전략이 된다는 거죠. 그 하나에 대한
맞죠.
다 잡기가 있고 잡기 말고는 다 막히니까.
네,
Okay,
그러니까
yes, sir.
잡기로 기결된다 모든 게.
Makes sense. Yeah. Okay. So
As
I was just
long as
asking
you
him to
don't
explain
make-
it also in Korean. He was kind of the same thing, but he went into a
As
little
long
more
as you don't
details
make
and
dog shit
how there'd be
judgment.
no strategy where everyone would
That's
be
what
like,
they said
okay,
in
now I know
Korea.
he's gonna grab my ass. So every PvP action will be based on he's gonna grab me when, I'm gonna grab him when, and that's the only PvP action that you're gonna see ever with all the protections going on. So now I kind of understand. Yes, I understand that now.
I can tell you as a
Are those
SA
Cheez-Its?
block class,
Yeah.
being Valkyrie, if you fight
God, I
other
don't
SA block classes like Awakening Guardian or
Yeah.
something, for example,
Yeah.
it's a very, very boring fight, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not getting CC'd unless he hits his grab, and he's not getting CC'd unless he hits his grab. And it's a very boring fight, like to just go like, oh, he missed his grab, I have 15 seconds of free time.
Okay.
I missed my grab, I'm gonna sit in Q block for 15 seconds. It's
True.
very boring.
But I'll raise you a situation. How about the matchup between Valkyrie and Sork? Also not a very engaging matchup, right?
Sork.
But if you lose,
It's also very
but if you lose your frontal guarded super armor, I would say it's pretty engaging. He's going to jump behind you, he's going to CC you, and then you're going to die. You have zero hope of beating that Sork. Like,
I mean,
how do you
Yeah.
propose
Currently
beating
how I
them
fight
without your
Sork
frontal
is
guarded super armor? How do you beat them?
Is it
like, I'm gonna be honest, how I fight Sox currently is I literally rotate my SAs and sitting Q block, otherwise I'm not using a different spell, brother. The only way I go for a grab on a Sock is with my SA heal before. Because I'm not taking the gamble of hitting a 1% hit grab, because that's not happening, right? Unironically. I tell you, it's super boring.
Yeah, but now you can't stay in SA all the time, so you have to use that block. They take the block away from you.
Yeah, outside of the block,
You're
for sure. I don't have enough SA spells, right? I don't know if you saw the fight of Zio against Luke, like on New Year's happening, where they fought for like 16 hours straight, right?
Yeah.
He was able to basically perma SA rotate, right? He used like one frontal in the entire fight, maybe, right? He was able to permanently SA rotate him.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
It depends on the class.
지금 블루님이랑
If you would have
a little
SA
bit
spells
just so
out
that
of-
the Koreans understand. You
yeah.
keep talking. I'll just talk over you just a little bit.
That's all.
블루님이랑 제이슨님이 의논하는 거는 지금 이제 발키리나 이제 방어가 그러니까 가드 뭐 가디언 대 가디언 대 아니면 발키리 대 소설? 솔크?
소설.
소설어. 막 그것만 예시를 해도 굉장히 재미없는 싸움이라 이 3번이 들어오면 완전 다 그렇게 돼버릴 거라고 이제 토론 그러니까 의논을 내고 있었어요. 막 예를 들면 이렇게 못 줄 건데 그러면 썼다가 15초 동안 뒤에 있으면 되지. 또 다시 들어갔다가 그럼 얘도 15초 동안 그러니까 뒤에 있다가 이런 그냥 티키타카가 있었습니다 지금. 네.
Suzanne who?
Okay. 그러면 2번. Everyone's going
Ellie's
for number
here.
2. So number 2 is, can you guys define it a little more? So number 2 changes that is going to be essays, more essays or more FGs?
No.
Less.
They're changing super armors to frontal guards. So take a couple of your core skills that are super armors
okay.
and make them frontal guards. Okay. So like
How would that work for classes like Sage, who basically only has a Q block and then all SA?
when you come out of your passive out of Rift Chain or whatever that skill is called,
Yeah.
it would be frontal guard instead of SA. Interesting.
When you come out of it?
Yeah.
What about during? So during it is, during it doesn't matter.
I mean, we don't know exactly what spells they will take SA away.
Wait, that'd be broken now that I think about it. That's even better.
No.
Because you're not taking damage out of Rift Chain.
Well,
Because usually the worst part of it is we're always. Oh yeah, that's true. You can still get CC'd.
So like, and honestly, Sage is a bad example. Sage can actually get behind frontal guards. I'm worried about the classes that can't. What's a Guardian supposed to do? That Guardian literally boils down to, I guess I have to grab people because Guardian's not going to be able to get behind people's frontal guards, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Archer's solution is I'll just break it. You know what I mean? Like Ranger's the same way, but like if you don't have the range to like break the frontal guard or you can't jump behind it, you're kind of screwed, right?
But aren't you only playing Guardian because of the Booba?
I don't play Guardian. She's too
I'm saying
muscular.
Guardian players, honestly, let's be honest.
No, I'd
If
say
the
it's more
Guardian
of a
was a
leg
male,
situation.
none of you would be playing Guardian right now. If Guardian was a male, I think 90% of the Guardian mains right now would switch characters right now. You would switch mains so fast because she hot.
Bro,
Okay, that was a joke, but I'm
you
kind
can
of
say
serious
that
though.
about every class in the game. You know what I
Every
mean?
female class?
Except for Archer.
Yeah.
Archers are
Okay,
playing
yeah.
Archer because they're special people. You know what I mean?
But
like-
okay, whoa, the way you said that. All right, all right. They are. Everyone's special, no? Yeah, everyone is special. Yes.
Well, they kill
But
everybody.
I
so-
do have a general question though, both for Blue and for Yam.
Yeah.
Do you
what is it?
think either of the three options is required, right? Do we need an entire rework of Protection and CCs? Isn't it fine to just buff like the shit classes, I don't know, Kuno or something, buff them, nerf Dracania and stuff like that, right? We don't need it. Go ahead, buff like Kuno and stuff now, nerf Dracania and stuff now.
Okay.
In 2 weeks, look at it again. Was it enough? Was it not enough? Nerf them again, buff them again, right? Like,
I
don't
agree.
know. It doesn't require a full
Before
rework.
Blue
in my
answers that,
opinion,
let me
right?
tell Yambiam so that he can start thinking about it while Blue answers. Is that cool?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. 얌얌님 지금 저 이유 선수님께서 블루님이랑 얌얌님한테 질문하고
I'm gonna
싶었던
get some
게
hot cocoa. I'll be right back.
이 세 가지 중에서 이 세 가지 1, 2, 3번이 제시가 됐잖아요. 제안이 됐죠. 이게 진짜 필요한지 굳이 이거 다 없애버리고 그냥 클래스들 조금씩 올려주고 조금씩 낮춰주고 2주에 보고 다시 계산해서 조금씩 그냥 그런 식으로 좀 변화가 있는 게 더 자연스러운 건데 왜 이렇게 크게 한 방에 하려고 하는 말도 안 되는 1, 2, 3번이 생겼는지에 대한 의견.
아까 제가 말씀드렸다시피 이게
그쵸.
PVE 패치의 연장선이라고 그랬잖아요.
예.
솔직히 말하자면 지금 당장 이제 침소 다크시커였죠. 이제 북미 쪽은 어떨지 모르겠는데 한국은 다크시커가 처음 나왔을 때 이제 엄청
어떤 거요? 아,
아파서
다크시커.
전속
예.
우사 말고는 사냥이 안 됐어요. 이제 그래서 사람들이 이 밸런스 패치를 원했고 그래서 시작된 게 이 밸런스 패치인데
네.
지금 현 상황으로는 이제 데키아, 제피숲, 애쉬 포레스트 빼고는 전부 다 돌 수 있어요. 모든 클래스가.
네.
그래서 사실상 제일 쉬운 방법은 데키아, 제피숲만 조정하면 이 패치를 할 필요가 없다는 거죠. 제 생각은. 그래서 그냥 데키아, 제피숲만 너프 시키고 이제 튀어나온
오케이.
캐릭터 있잖아요. 예를 들어 유지력이 너무 좋은 전승 드라카니아나 자이언트 이런 친구들 쳐내고 또 너무 사기적인 치식이 이제
다시
슈퍼하머 플러스
자이언트랑
디버프 있는 애들 그런 애들 조정하는 게 더 좋다 생각합니다.
한 번만 더 그 클래스 어떤 클래스 예를 들어서 자이언트랑 누구였죠?
자이언트, 전승 드라카니아, 각성 드라카니아
워킹
그리고 또 잠시만요.
파크. I just got kicked from
Mr.
the game.
Suba, you should
What?
check out my YouTube channel. Look at those
Thank you.
choose your class guides, pick the
그리고
correct
이제
guide,
슈퍼하머가 너무 많은 클래스들
and then
그
check out some of my other
친구들을
guides.
그
They'll help guide you
친구들만
through the
뽑아서
first part of the game.
이제 슈퍼하머를 전반가드로
Fake Uni is
바꾼다거나
also really good.
아니면 이제 밸런스 세팅이라고 하죠. 해피 밸런스, 피감
No
밸런스
problem,
세팅
Mr. Seba.
캐릭터들의 공효율,
Welcome to the game,
방효율
buddy.
이런 걸 또 조정한다거나
Make sure you pick the right
그런
class.
식으로
Do
일부
the main
캐릭터
storyline,
조정이
okay? Just do
진행되고
the main story. Stay on the main story, do the main
전반가드나
story.
그런 굳이 1, 2, 3번 선택지가 아니라 사냥터는 데키아 제피스만 너프하면 된다.
아, PVP 변화 필요 없이 그것만 하면 된다라는 의견이시죠 지금?
네, 맞죠.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so Yambiam's personal take was, to him, honestly, if he looks really deep into it, this is a reaction to the PvE changes that came through, and he thinks Dekia and Jade Forest and Dark Seekers, like for example, Dark Seekers was so bad that only Wusas were able to farm it or something. Is that the right class
Yeah.
in the beginning?
Mm-hmm.
And so like this is a reaction to PvE changes that came in. So he's saying that he's agreeing with basically what Jason said. Like if we are gonna make changes to classes, you know,
How
change
about-
like Zerker, Awakening, and Suck Drak with balance settings for like maybe have like evasion stats and the HP shredding classes, whatnot. But he's saying that right now he thinks that this is like in addition to the PvE changes, and he thinks that by changing the farming areas, the PvP doesn't have to be this drastic right now. The PvP changes is what he's saying.
Okay. So I agree. I don't think there needs to be some dramatic change to PvP. In fact, I've been around long enough to know I was here for the great purge of our people a long time ago when they added a bunch of protections to the game many years ago.
Purge.
It was about 5 or 6 years ago. They suddenly added a bunch of protections to the game and made basically all classes much more protected across the board. We lost about half of our PvP player base when they made a big dramatic change like that. People did not like it. It wasn't very well received. And then people just kind of settled into it after a while, but it's what we had. As for right now, I don't think that necessarily a dramatic change needs to happen. Although Divios, who you should probably explain to them who Divios is. Divios is our best PvPer, at least in North America, that we've ever seen. And I know he's won multiple EU, like a NA versus EU competitions a couple times as well. But he's won every single tournament that Pearl Abyss has put on since they took over publishing in North America 2 years ago. He's won the best in class tournament for like 1 or 2 different classes. He won the Arena of Solare. He won the TwitchCon tournament. He's won the Best in Guild tournament 3 times in a row. He is the best. He's one of our top ranked AOS players. He's incredibly good. And he put out a big Google Doc today about what he feels like needs to happen with the game. And in one of the, or with PvP. And in part of the Google Doc, he addresses resistances. And he says that resistances should be changed so that it is only PvE oriented. And you can add PvE, like you can add resistances to like more crystals so that you can still resist CCs in PvE, so that classes don't need protections added to their skills. You can just allow them to get 100% resist so that they don't get CC'd in this way. So classes can run better crystal setups like this. Okay. He also said you could remove resistances basically from PvP, or you could buff the ignore resist crystals to a point where they could actually be used, because right now they're completely unusable. as they stand right now. I'll get a link to the
for
Google Doc here.
PvE, for PvP, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Dude, that sounds like such a easier change that they could go through with, coming from a very experienced PvP player. It's like that begs the question, like, how is that? Oh, that's a
Yeah.
Google
So
Doc.
I would
Okay.
translate that and see. I kind of want to see what they. Well, like Jason, what do you think about that?
You want me
Instead
to
of all of
translate
these
it?
changes.
It's kind
like
of saving pages,
resistance?
bro. When are you...
Yeah, wait. The
That's just
TLDR
the
was like
videos then.
resistance is only for PvE, and then you said your second part. What was that?
Resistance is only for PvE, and then for
Yeah.
PvP, there are two fixes. You can either remove them and then change
get
how the
better
Corsair.
crystals.
You'd have to change how the Corsair passive works. You'd have to change how a couple other classes work, like Magical Shield and whatnot. But like remove them for PvE or PvP, or you can buff the ignore resist crystals to a point that they're actually usable, and you could work them into a crystal build for PvP. It doesn't grief you.
100%. I mean, it's what PvP players have been saying since 5 years now, right? Like nobody wanted resist in the first place, right? Like everybody wants them to be removed since years now. He quitted the game over it. There's so many PvP players that quitted the game over resistances because it's like super annoying. It's frustrating as hell that if you're the better player but you get resisted, you get punished afterwards and you lose. Like it takes away so much skill from it. So I personally would prefer for them to just be removed and then rework the passives that have like resistance and stuff, like e-buffs that have resistances and stuff. Rework those, in my opinion, right? The ignore resist is the alternative, like better ignore resist crystals is an alternative to it. I think I would prefer the other one though. I think just resistance gone in the first place, so you
Very
don't have
funny,
to bother
Skull.
with ignore
Yeah.
resistance crystals would be better.
True.
But
But
yeah,
then you'd have to
if they're not
rework some of
willing
the
to remove them.
classes, right?
You would have to
Like Chris
rework
said.
some e-buffs
Yeah.
and passives
Correct.
and stuff. Yeah,
You
right?
definitely would have to
my
rework some
e-buff also
stuff.
gives
But
me resistance. But
let's be honest, those are the classes that are struggling typically anyway, right? Like, and I think that we would all like this change more. It helps everybody in PvE, right? It doesn't dramatically change PvP in a way that really needs to be mixed up. Or you can just buff the ignore all resist crystals. And again, buffing ignore resist, if they didn't want to remove resist in PvP, they could buff ignore resist crystals to a point to where they're actually like super usable in a PvP build, and that effectively allows people to CC people in PvP. It also allows people to have more like messing with resistances allows people to have more protection or have less protection without necessarily touching every single class in the game. Like I'd like to see what Yum Yum thinks of it.
That's what the crystals, yeah.
Yeah.
야미언니 이제 해석 들어갈게요. 계시나요? 야미언님? 준비되셨나요?
아, 네네네. 잠깐 시청자랑 얘기 좀 해가지고.
아, 괜찮습니다. 괜찮습니다. 아, 시간 필요하세요? 시청자.
아니요, 괜찮아요. 그냥 끝냈습니다.
Doesn't ignore resist get up to 50% casually? No.
그래서 이제 그 디비오스라는 선수 아세요 혹시?
방금 그 링크 받았습니다.
네. 그 디비오스라는 분이 일단 북미 측에서는 1티어 탑 PVP어 유저예요. 일단 바탕 얘기하자면 모든 토너먼트 북미 대 EU전 무조건 1등 every time. 모든 그 펄어비스에서 호스팅한 토너먼트 1등, 트위치컨 1등, 길드 대 길드 베스트 플레이어 모든 거 1등 3번 연속. 그런 이제 완전 PVP 미친 사람인데 이 사람의 의견은 그 수축을 한 7페이지를 썼어요. 구글 닥.
Guys, I think they get the idea.
격투가 유저인데 세이지도 해요. Wait, Devious is a striker mage, but striker
I
main,
think they get
but
it.
he also plays Sage a lot, right?
Yes, he plays Sage
Yes, okay.
primarily now, but yeah, he also mains Striker as well.
Okay, so he's a striker main, but also kind of a Sage
And
main
a
too.
BDO
He's an everything.
faker,
Let's be
yes.
honest, if he's that good at PvPs and everything, man,
Yeah,
he just
BDO
picks the
faker.
class that he has the most fun with.
Yeah.
BDO faker, 페이커래요. 북미의 페이커.
아,
검은 사막에서 북미의 검은사막 페이커. 바로 이해되죠? 정리되네. 오케이.
네.
근데 이 사람이 제일 원하는 거는 저항력, 리지스턴스를 빼던지 아예 빼버리면은 그것 때문에 문제 생기는 클래스들을 조금 리워크를 하자. 어차피 리지스턴스를 없애버리고 문제가 커지는 클래스들은 조금 터치가 필요했다. 또는 그렇게 하기 싫으면 저항력을 킵할 거면 PvE에서만 저항력을 적용하고 PvP에서만 뺀다. 또는 그 저항력을 안 뺄 거면 아예 PvP 저항력 크리스탈을 훨씬 강화시킨다. 그 저항력 무시하는 크리스탈 있잖아요.
저항무시를
그거를 훨씬
이제
그거
정이랑 동일하게.
훨씬 더 효율 있게 만들어서 근데 그거는 또 즉 저항력을 빼야 된다는 거죠. PVP 단에서는. PVE에서만 저항력을 유지를 하고 PVP 측에서는 레지스턴스를 빼야 된다는 의견이거든요. 디비오스님께서는.
이게 살짝 저 소름 돋았거든요.
뭐요?
이제 한국에서
네.
디비오스님이랑 비슷한 포지션에 엄청 PVP 잘하시는 유저분이 계셔요.
아, 네, 누구요?
그분의 의견이랑 너무 똑같아서 약간 소름 돋았어요.
누군데요?
네.
이름이?
마창님이라고 발키리 하신 분,
아,
국성 발키리.
오늘 원래 오셨어야 되죠, 알맨이랑 마창님. 네.
근데 그분이 전에 얘기했던 말이랑 너무 똑같이 얘기해서.
한국의 디비오스인 거죠? 알겠습니다. 네.
그죠.
네. 그분이 완전 똑같은 의견이었어요?
그분도
거의?
이제 저항은 삭제되고 저항은 너무 불합리하고 그런 시스템이다 삭제해야 된다 얘기하셨고 또 저항 무시도 얘기하셨거든요. 이제 저항을 챙길 수 있는 건 25%인데 왜 저항 무시 수치는 낮냐? 그래서 저항을 애초에 없앤다거나 아니면 저항 무시 챙길 수 있는 걸 저항만큼 챙길 수 있게 해달라 이 얘기를 하셨어요 그분도.
Okay. So he's saying that this gave him the goosebumps because they have a Korean Devios themselves named Machang, who Armin wanted to get in today, but Armin was sick. So they have their very own Devios, the representative of the Korean PvP in the Korean server side. And he literally basically said the same thing that the Devios is saying. Like resistance should not be in PvP, or let us deal with resistance much more effectively through the changes that Devios also mentioned. So yeah, I think so. From coming from Devios and Machang, it's like take on PvP. When it comes to PvP, the devs have such an easy out, don't they? Resistance seems to be the biggest issue without having to
this is pretty
do all
easy.
these huge changes. Leave
This
the
is pretty
resistance in
simple.
PvE, like you said, like Blue said. And then
You can even buff
the
resistances
PvP
as much as
changes-
you want in crystals. You can add resistances to crystals and stuff.
yeah,
You can go
or
nuts
remove
with
it completely in
You know
PvP.
what I mean? Yeah, and just remove it in PvP.
And then retouch the classes that really needed working on with the resistance issues, dealing with resistance issues. And it seems like, wouldn't that be much less work? Well, we don't know, obviously, but that sounds to me like less work than introducing 1, 2, and 3 of the options they've given us.
Yeah, I would
Just
agree.
getting rid of resistance to some degree
To
in
be
PvP.
fair,
Yeah.
there's an easy way for PA to check as well if resistances are liked or not liked, or how strong they are, right? Because outside of all the things that we're saying, right, if they don't believe us, go look at the top 100 people in AOS and look at their crystals build. Their crystal build. Every single one of
What is
those
it?
people is going to run the double sail crystal in the shoes because it gives 30% all resistances, which is so dumb. Every single one of them is going to run ignore resistance crystals in the gloves because it's the only way to counter resistances in AOS. And every single one of them is going to run ignore grab or KD resistance
kinda
crystals
spitting right
as
now.
well. Because resistance is a stupid stat that should not exist in things like AOS.
You're
So
right,
every
yeah.
single one of them tries to get as much as possible while getting as much ignore resist as possible because it's the only way to counteract it. So
Is
if
it for
you
the
look at
stamina?
your
Oh, and
region's top
resistance.
100 AOS, yeah, it gives 30%
Well,
all resistances. Every
one
single
thing.
one of those top 100 people would have it.
You're saying
It's
use
just
it for the
dumb
stamina
stat.
and the resistance, but Monsteel, if there was no resistance, would you use it just for the stamina? I think
No,
you'd
of
probably
course
opt
not.
for something else that has resistance on it. So would you take stamina over resistance in AOS?
No, the stamina
think
is a
so.
whatever stat. It's only for the all resistance. You run that stuff
Yeah.
for 30% all resistance. Because
Just an
it's-
honest question.
that is
to you,
already
yeah.
more resistance than you can get ignore in AOS.
What the
It's
fuck are these
completely
people
dumb,
talking
right?
about in this chat,
So they
bro?
can just
And
look
then,
at the top 100 players and
they
see
should-
there right
yeah.
now.
Look at the crystal
Okay,
builds,
let me
right?
translate
It's going to
that
show
real
you how broken it
Let me
is.
ask you if they do that in Korea too. Yeah. 얌비암님, 지금 이제 퍼르비스에서 마창님 또는 디비오스 같은 사람들의 솔루션이 훨씬 더 간단할 것 같은데 1, 2, 3번보다. 근데 이제 PA에서 그게 증거로 부족하다면 북미랑 EU AOS를 보시면 탑 100 유저들을 보면은 다 똑같대요. 신발은
Just
무조건
like
저항력
us.
강화,
Yeah, we just have
장갑은
duck ass
무조건
emos.
저항력 카운터, 그리고 이제 나머지는 다 뭐
They're all
이너
the same.
그랩 또는 KD 저항력 추가 뭐 이런 거밖에 안 간다. 진짜 탑 AOS 유저들은 솔라르 유저들은 근데 한국도 비슷한 상황인가요? 그 솔라르에서 다
지금
그런 것만
채팅창에
끼죠.
그 신발 소정이 순항이라는 소정인데 갑자기 욕이 올라오네 그 소정에 대해서 다들 다 한국도 똑같아요 상황이.
Oh, they're saying it's the exact same thing in Korean
수정기로.
Solaris. Yeah. Everyone's going
It's
resistance,
too broken.
resistance, because
Jason's
it's
like,
like,
I
yeah,
knew it.
take
And ignore resistance as well, right? It's
Yeah.
combined. You want as much resistance while having as much ignore resistance as possible. Because if you
Okay,
don't,
yeah.
you get completely fucked.
yeah.
If you
Okay,
don't
yeah.
have ignore resistance,
Oh.
your enemy will have resistance and you
Oh.
get fucked.
One thing I'm gonna address, Monsteel. I'm not bashing it in any way because I am not a top AOS player at all. First of all, the highest I ever got was 1500, and I dropped down to 1300. But are you a 100 AOS player? Is all I'm asking. Because yes, I know stamina is important, and no, not you, the Monsteel in my chat. Because he's saying like
Okay.
stamina is very important.
I was like, wait, what?
Stamina is important. Of course, it's important. If you run a stamina, you can get screwed in a lot of places. But
He's
the
getting
top
one guy.
100
Chat.
AOS players in Korea and NA and EU right now are saying that resistance is more important than stamina at the moment for most classes, obviously, right? I think there are, not all. I'm gonna shut up because I'm not that experienced, but yeah. Oh, you used to be. Okay, ain't no way. As in what? Oh, you think stamina is still more important than resistance?
Okay, so more to the point though.
Do you agree with
Off
this
the
on the panel?
AOS.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, more
about the
instead of
AOS.
getting one guide.
Yeah.
More to the point, Divios also put forth another point that I want to talk about. He also suggested the idea that these changes are like really wildly big for seemingly no reason, and he would rather just see them do like balance. He sees balance, and I would have to agree with him as like
Who?
a delicate
Who?
Divios.
Sorry, who said that? Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Like he sees balance as like a delicate give and take, right? If you buff a class, you must also nerf it, right? And then he wants to see like every 2 weeks, he wants them to reassess who the top classes are and bring them down a nerf, right? Like a small nerf, and then take who the 2 or 3 bottom classes are, and they should be brought up with some buffs, right? Like nerfs and buffs should come together. It should not always be buffs because like so far it has only been buffs. He would like to see just, okay, let's not do any of these big changes, necessarily speaking, but like, let's see them actually start to balance their game instead of just constantly buffing stuff all the time and having it be a power struggle for the top. I'm curious what you guys think about that. Jason, you first.
I agree, and we suggested it earlier, and there was some people in the chat going like, yeah, but they tried that for 4 years. Have they though?
No, they never tried really nerfing.
It's the simplest like arguing for me with going for AOS, right? Every single AOS season had one class that was completely obliterating the meta.
A number of times.
It was Succession Mega on release, it was Awakening Dracania this season, it was Succession Dracania on release, right? And they've not touched it for the entire season, which is
correct.
3 months roughly always, right? So saying, hey, they buff and nerf classes every 2 weeks, they've never tried it, right? Yeah. So it should exactly be how the balancing works. Every 2-3 weeks, or like you go with small buffs, small nerfs, you see how it plays out. In 2 weeks, you look at it again. That is exactly how balancing should work, in my opinion, as well. But currently, PA always goes like, hey, we buff it to obliteration, leave it 3 months, and then we gut it down again instead. It's like, okay, that's not fun.
We've seen this with a few classes. They do nerf, but when they nerf, they go hard. So like with Dark Knight, when Dark Knight came out and released, and then there was a delay. This was like 6 or 7 years ago, but like there's a delay, and then there was a huge nerf, and Dark Knights went into the dumpster. Mystics came out, and they were way overly powered. It took them a long time, and then they nerfed it into the fucking ground. And Mystic's been in the, Awakening Mystic is what it is today. And then like Megu came out. Megu was super strong for a long time, and then they nerfed Succession Megu basically into the ground, and it's actually doing okay. We would just rather see more of an approach where they're buffing and nerfing classes on a regular basis, and it's not just like once every millennium, and it's not just only buffs. It can't just only be buffs, right? And I personally would like to know what they want to balance around, because it seems to me like they're balancing around AOS, which is what I was told basically at the Calpheon Ball by them when I talked to the Korean developers when they were there last year. But like it doesn't seem to me like they're balancing, like these changes were meant to confront Node Wars. Like, are we balancing around Node Wars or AOS? Like what? Like and if it's some classes are being balanced around AOS and other classes are being balanced around Node Wars, well, which one is which?
That's well.
Okay, I'm gonna translate now.
I don't know.
I have to translate Blues, then Jason's, then Blues last thing. Okay.
Let the man cook.
블루 플러스 디비오스님의 의견이 이제 밸런싱은 항상 굉장히 예민한 부분이기 때문에 항상 give and take, 뭘 주면은 또 뺏고 빼가면 줘야 된다는 되게 예민한 그 변화라서 2주마다 하는 게 맞다고 본대요. 예를 들면 솔라레만 볼 거면은
Please
지난
delete
2주간 어떤
Valkyrie.
클래스가 솔라레를 찍고 다녔는지 그리고 누가 제일 아래에 있었는지
They are the
그러면
same people as us.
진짜
Yeah.
무조건 위에 탑
100%,
클래스들을
yeah.
2주마다 조금 너핑을
That's our
하고
community.
맨 가장 bottom of the barrel 가장 밑에 있던 클래스들을 살짝
Now I
버핑을
need to
해서
delete
2주마다
Shy,
계속
bros.
밸런싱 패치를 해야 된다고 본대요. 그리고 이렇게 한 번에 전체적으로 뭐 팍 하려고 하지 말고 이제 제이슨님 우리 EU 측 선수님께서 말한 거는 어떤 사람들은 지금 4년 동안 계속 그렇게 해왔다. 진짜 해왔네요.
It's crazy how
해왔다고 보세요.
similar.
얌얌님은 그렇게
It's
했어요?
crazy how similar our views are.
2주마다 밸런싱을 했어요? 안 했죠. 아니라고 본대요. 그러니까 했으면 이거 안 해도겠죠. 야. 그리고 이제 항상 솔라레만 봐도 전체 시즌 동안 무조건 탑 클래스를 유지했던 클래스들이 있었대요. 그 다음에 시즌 끝나서야 완전 바닥 칠 때까지 너핑을 당했고 또 반복. 다른 클래스가 찍고 다니다가 시즌 끝나고 나서 maybe 너프 이런 식으로 갔기 때문에 너무 문제고 이제 또 블루가 마지막에 추가한 거는 요 변화들이 뭐 솔라레 위주일 건지 뭐 대전 노드워 점령전 위주일 건지 이것도 약간 불확실해가지고 좀 헷갈린 부분도 있다고 해가지고
It's good that
밸런싱이 항상
the Koreans are
그렇다고 보는데
just
그리고
as
이제
concerned
솔직히
as we
말하면
are about
리그도
stuff,
항상
and that
실수를 하지만
we typically
실수하면서 계속
see eye to
패치를
eye on
하잖아요.
most things.
클래스를
It's crazy to me. It's crazy.
150 몇 가지 클래스가 많은 당연히 완전 다른 게임이지만 PVP가 언급돼 있는 게임에서는 무조건 예민한 부분이고 되게 자주 검토를 해야 된다라는 의견이 나왔어요. 어떻게 생각하세요?
너무 맞는 말이 할 말이 없긴 한데 당연하다 생각해요. 저도 이제
당연하다.
PVP라는 것은 아무래도 서로 무너진 밸런스로 싸우는 것보다는 더 어느 정도 공정한 선에서 하는 게 더 재밌기도 하고 즐길 수 있는 요소인데 이제 전에 아까 말씀했다시피 전승 매구죠. 그 친구나 각 드라카니아 같은 대놓고 방치한 사태가 있었어요. 그래서 거의 몇 개월 동안 해먹었고 그 친구들이 그로 인해 막
매구?
사람들 엄청나게 불만을
네.
가져오는데도 펄어비스는 그냥 몇 개월간 냅뒀어요. 그 친구들을 계속 사기캐로.
네.
그래서 저는 그걸 직접 경험해 보기도 했고 제가 플레이하기도 했는데 블루님 말씀대로 그렇게 자주 밸런스 패치하는 게 맞다 생각해요. 이거는 정말 아닌 것 같아요. 이렇게 강한 캐릭터 한 개만 냅두고 가만히 있는 거는.
Okay. So Yami obviously agrees to that whole point, and he thinks that the main point of PvP set should obviously be that we should be feeling that we are whatever class you're playing. You should at least get the feeling that you're fighting on fair grounds to make it fun. The whole point of PvP is supposed to be fun, and that comes from constant, consistent balancing, like you guys said. So there needs to be more frequent observations and assessments for the balancing. And he also brought in the example of how Suckmegu, is it? Suckmegu, I think he meant. I'm pretty sure it means Suckmegu. Suckmegu was just destroying the meta for the longest time, and it's just left it like that for a really long time.
Yep.
And that is not okay for a
Yep.
PvP game.
Yeah.
It's like saying like
No, I
like,
agree that
that
they leave
example-
stuff. Look at Dracania. Look at Awakening
Yeah.
Dracania. The class is
And a
out
bad,
of control.
good example would be like League of Legends, right? They have over 160 champions, but they're always doing balance matches. They're trying their ass off to balance. You cannot balance 160 different characters that have 6 different skills. You can't balance that. You cannot. But they're still trying. Does that stop them from trying? No, there's a freaking balance match every mid-season. They do huge changes to all. They're trying, you know? And with less classes in a game like BDO, there's no excuse for not trying to constantly balance these out, especially if you want PvP in the game.
Well-
And PvP is a huge part in BDO.
I mean, the thing is, like,
go.
it shouldn't be not every class should necessarily be at the same footing in every type of PvP. I think Devious wrote it as well, right? Classes like Ranger and Archer obviously shine in large scale better than they do in 1v1s. They're not
Right,
supposed to be good in 1v1, like Sack
Right.
Ranger, right? Sack Ranger. They're not supposed to be good in 1v1s. They're blasting machines for an old war, and they're not supposed to be good in AOS or something, right? That is fine, right? But you can't have a single class dominate entire seasons where of the top 100 there's 15 or 16 spots is one single class. every single season, right? We've seen it this season, Awakening Dracania. Before that, it was Succession Megu. Before that, it was Succession Dracania. Every single AOS season so far had one class completely obliterate the season, and it didn't get touched once, right? If they would at least touch it like mid-season, right? Only once per season, right? Do it in the middle of the AOS season. They go ahead and nerf the top 3-4 performing classes and buff the weakest 3-4. That would
see
be
what
one
happens.
patch in.
Yeah.
There's one patch in 3 months, right? A single patch, and it would make things so much better. But it doesn't happen.
Yeah, and like the thing I realized as a very new player in AOS when I first touched AOS, I realized it was so weird seeing like the top, like I'd look at the top Sage players because I was into Sage, right? But they were nowhere near like the top players, and that's what they were like. Take any other class that's not a broken meta class for AOS, right? 3v3s, like even a newbie would realize, oh wait, there's a huge class disparity in this PvP game for 3v3s. Like a newbie will realize right away just from like, I want to be a good Sage. Let's see, best Sage rank 22. Is that? Huh?
Well,
How many
if you look
classes
at
are there? Like it's like it's a
23.
bad example. Like maybe not a Sage, but you know what I mean. Like there is going to be a class where you look at the best player for that class in AOS, and he's not even going to be top 20, but he's the best at that class in that server.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
There's like best Corsair or something would be like rank 100 at best. If he's lucky, he gets top 100.
Yeah.
Best
And that
Awakening
just-
Witch, get the fuck out of here, bro. Like,
That's the Awakening with. Everyone's just starting to notice Blue's mug and they love it.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it could have been an L take, but then yeah, like the important thing is they still try consistently. That's the important thing. Whether it fails or not, they will get to a point where there will be even like mid seasons. If a class is changing, of course it's going to affect node wars. Like Jason said, like certain classes are built, or certain versions, like the succession version of a class is you're supposed to like do a shit ton of damage from range, and that wouldn't necessarily work at all in AOS, right? But then just keep trying though. You can't. Oh well, you know that's gonna affect this. We're not even gonna touch it for the whole ranked season. Just go ahead. You know?
mm-hmm.
Are they not making enough money? I don't think so. Like, what's up?
Also, because some people said, like, how do you track if a class is broken? Like, outside of being like 10 plus spots out of the top 100 being that one class, which makes it very obvious. If you, like, the PvP players know what class the other PvP players main, right? If you all of a sudden notice that somebody that is used to play Bewa, Tamer, Valkyrie, Zerka, and all of a sudden they pull up on the Awakening Dracania this season, the Succession Megu last season, the Succession Dracania before this season, right? For AOS, that is a very good indicator. If people pick up a new class mid AOS season because they realize it's so broken and they still perform better on that class than on their main class, it's a very good indicator if a class is balanced.
But that would like that's for people who care enough to see into that depth. You can, if you really care much, if you look at the way Jason just said it, you will see it very visibly. But I think another thing is, if you just look at, like you said, just look at the top 30 and see how many of all classes, just the top leaderboard of it, when we're talking about AOS only. If you look at the top leader, oh, there he is. Oh, la, 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 little cutie. Okay. Look at how many of the same classes are in the top 20 or 30, right? There's like 6 of the same classes hogging the top 20. Then you kind of know that class is definitely broken. It's not like it just happens to be that the best PvPers decided to play the exact same class and just destroy the top 15 leaderboard. Right?
Oh, the only time
That's a
that
more
happens, if they
obvious way.
all of a sudden pick up the same class, it is because the class is not very balanced, right? But like, yeah. I'm not saying only go from AOS leaderboards, right? But they could give you a very good indicator of what to look into, and then
It's good in small scale. No, it is a very good indicator for AOS, not for Node Wars, obviously.
Yep.
So 얌미야님은 어떻게 생각하세요? 이게 어떤 사람들이 지금 따지는 게 어떤 클래스가 그렇게 센지 어떻게 판단을 하냐? 되게 간단한 방법은 솔라레를 예시를 하면은 솔라레에서 탑 20 유저들을 보면은 그 안에 같은 클래스가 몇 개가 있는지만 봐도 딱 눈에 들어오지 않나요? 그리고 탑 유저들이 왜 계속 시즌마다 클래스를 완전히 바꿔버리고 탑 5 유저로 계속 유지를 하는지, 클래스를 바꿔가면서. 그건 그 클래스가 센 거니까. 그렇지 않습니까?
What the
그죠.
fuck are
그거도
the
될 수도
Koreans
있고,
talking about?
뭐 어떻게 하냐 물어봤을
Like, that's one
때는
of my chatters in the Korean.
전체
Stop
캐릭터
being an idiot.
승률을 정렬해서 봐도
Stop
어떤
being a
캐릭터가
fucking idiot.
판수 대비 승률이 몇 퍼 나오는지 그걸로 볼 수도 있어서 보는 방법은 많다 생각해요 저는.
야, Koreans,
캐릭이
한국인들은 그렇게까지 보죠.
음.
게을리지 않으니까 한국인들은. 이거 부분은 뺄게 영어로. So basically he's saying like basically the easy way for Koreans to see it is they can just literally just calculate the percentage of how well classes they'll look up a specific class and just put in the percentage.
They mean
how many of
characters
these
diving.
classes are doing really well in
Rat
AOS.
proof.
Easy.
Roach proof.
You can just see it for yourself on the leaderboards. Just press go and press the AOS, click rankings. Don't do sort by class, just see all rankings and then you'll see it. Basically.
I mean, they have more data than we do. So, okay. Right on. Well, what are there any other changes that they would like to discuss, or like ideas that people would like to put forward here? I know I wanted to put I wanted to get Divios's 2 cents in there, because he deserves a voice on that.
Okay. 얌얌님 혹시 또 이제 우리가 여태까지 말한 거 말고 또 추가하고 싶은 의견이나 다른 토픽이 있었을까요? 꼭 이 토픽 아니었어도.
저는 그
Roach, you better not be fear of
공구간에 대해서
roaches.
물어보고 싶어요.
공구간이 뭐예요? 죄송해요.
That better not be your
보너스
family name.
공격이에요. 보너스?
이제 269공을 달성하면 그 공격력 옆에 플러스로 몇이 더 증가한다. 특정 공격력을 달성할 때마다 보너스로 증가하는 공격력.
아, 브래킷 말하는 건가? 그 AP가 어떤 숫자를 달성하면
Grumpleton?
추가가 되는
맞아요,
It's just what they told us, Grumpleton. We didn't assume that. That's just what they said.
269부터 290까지
So
몰려
like we're like, well,
있어가지고
wait, what are you? Why are you only
특정
balancing
클래스가
around that?
그거로
You
인해
know what I mean?
과도한 이득을 보고 그래서 그로 인해 밸런스 세팅이라는 기괴한 세팅이 나오는데 이거에 대해 어떻게 생각하는지 좀 물어보고 싶어요.
Okay. So he wants to talk about the brackets
Okay.
of the stats.
All right.
Like an example he threw out there was for AP brackets. He said the majority of the biggest gains that you can see from AP brackets are from the 269 to 290 bracket.
Mm-hmm.
So like the hidden
305.
stats, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's saying like just like the majority. Like
Okay.
The
Yeah.
yeah. And he's saying and some classes are seeing huge gains from that, whereas other classes don't see as much as gains between those bracket gains. So like your thoughts on you and Jason's thoughts on that.
Like the early game brackets. Well, the thing about the early game brackets is you just blast straight through them. It is what it is. Nobody really cares until you start hitting like 301. Or like 281 to like the 301 brackets. People just blast straight through. And some classes are going to be OP and some classes are not going to be OP. Like it kind of just depends. That's why we have capped gear, right?
Yeah, so he's saying, I think I'm assuming his question was, should these brackets exist?
Oh.
I think he's asking like, is this fair? Because some classes are gaining way more with the hidden stat brackets versus other classes not really.
Okay, I will personally say
systemic.
that I think that as long as they're condensing everything, I think they need to condense their stats too. I don't think that there should be hidden DR and DR. I think they should be combined into one stat. I don't think there should be hidden evasion and evasion. It should be one stat. I don't think there should be hidden AP and AP. It should be one stat. It just makes it way harder for a new player to understand what caps they're trying to get to, what their gear looks like, what stats they look like, etc. Like all of that needs to be condensed down. You don't necessarily need to change it. Just add the numbers together and then make that your DR. Add the numbers together and make that your evasion. Add the numbers together and make that your AP. Like this is not hard, but like it needs to be less numbers. Like, dude, when a new player is just like, we're like, oh yeah, just go meet the T1 caps. They go mouse over the T1 caps. It's like 85 different numbers. They're like, what the fuck? Bro, they don't know what the hell is going on. You know what I mean? So like it needs to all be condensed down so that it's much more easy to digest. So like if they want to remove the hidden AP brackets, it's okay. That's going to require a lot of adjustment. But instead of necessarily removing it, I would rather just see them condense all of this stuff down to make it easier to digest for players and to understand, okay, this is where my character's strength is, right? Like this is an extremely hard concept for players to understand, is like your PvE strength. It's like, okay, well, I don't have very much AP, but like I'm sporting a massive amount of PvE buffs, and that's the reason I'm able to do this spot, right? Like players just don't know what their AP is in PvE or PvP because there's just so many hidden stats everywhere, which I think hurts. Yes, there's always going to be classes that are imbalanced at different AP brackets, but like I think that overall a buff to frontal guards would probably help across the board for a lot of classes. Just like allowing frontal guards to just have a survivable amount of hits taken on them. But yeah, that's kind of my take on that.
Okay, can I say that take first and then we go Jason? Yeah. 블루님은 일단은 그 브래킷에 대해서는 모든 스탯이 하나로 통일이 되는데 예를 들면
True, Evo.
DR,
One step at a time.
방어력, 그 다음에 또 이제 숨겨진 방어력 있잖아요. 좀
네네.
찾아봐야 되잖아. 특히 뉴비들한테는 완전 말이 안 되는 거고 일단 뭐 회피율도 똑같이 회피율이 있고 또 히든 이베이전이 있고 AP도 AP가 있고 또 히든 AP가 있고 이건 다 말이 안 된대요. 그래서 컨덴스 하는 게 훨씬 좋을 것 같다고 의견을 냈어요. 왜냐면 일단은 그거 다 파고라들고 계산하는 것도 피곤하고 힘들고 불필요하고 뉴비들은 이게 뭐야? 일단 이렇게 뭐야 이거 언제 다 배워? 이게 그죠? 왜냐면 이제 뉴비 무시 못하는 게 게임이 살아나려면 계속 새로운 플레이어들이 들어와야 되기 때문에 이런 변화는 있어야 된다라고 말을 했어요. 브루님께서.
안 그래도 그 얘기가 제 방 채팅창에 나왔는데 이런 히든이라 그러지 히든 옵션
네, 히든 옵션.
아까 말한 것들이
히든
이제
스탯.
그런 게 너무 많으니까 이제는 좀
Yeah.
이제 가모스 사이트 아시죠?
garments, yeah.
예, 그런 데서 유저들이 찾아보는 게 아니라 게임사에서 이제는 다 밝혀야 되지 않냐. 이제 그런 거 하나하나 찾아보는 것 자체가 신입 유저나 이제 진입하는 유저들한테 진입 장벽이고 어려운 수단인데 이제 좀 편하게 해줘야 되지 않냐. 그런
It's
의견이
probably two
나왔습니다.
moves, but I don't know. We'll see
right
with
off
the
of
boots.
what Blue said and I translated, there was a comment from his Korean chat saying, an example, Garmouth, having to learn the Garmouth system is like, for me, it felt like learning a new game. So I still, to this day, don't use Garmouth except for boss timers. People typed, even literally 5 minutes ago, command gear. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that on Garmin. Sorry. I just show you my gear. I'll press I. He's saying he thinks that there shouldn't be a requirement of you trying to learn a third party plugin like Garmouth to figure out all these hidden stats, and that it's way past due where the game should just show you everything that you need to know about the game.
Right.
Like,
it's not just
everything-
show us though, because
Yeah.
like it's not enough to just open your stats up and just have like an overwhelming amount of numbers in front of you. Why the fuck are there 4 different numbers for DR there, right? Like where is your like
Why not
what's
just
your
one
DR
is
then?
what you mean?
Yeah, even as a like a veteran player, I look at it, I'm like, all right, which one of these numbers am I supposed to be looking at? Right? Like
And he's been playing for years.
yeah, like and like it's just hard to read. It's not just like revealing the stats to us or showing us what our character. It's condensing it all and just add it all together, make it easier to digest for everyone. It's just that simple.
그래서 얌얌님 말한 것처럼 약간 가머스 있는 정보를 다
Yeah, you can see
인게임으로
all your
보여주는 게
stats, but
문제가
it
아니라
doesn't mean anything. Yeah,
왜
exactly.
애초에 그게 있는지 그냥 자기도 몇
Most
년을
players have
했는데
no idea how to read
피곤하고
it.
계산을 계속 해야 된다는 게 어이가 없대요. 약간 그냥 DR 이런 DR 있고 또 DR 요도 왜 이렇게 다양한 게 그냥 just 근데
Correct.
진짜
Now
방어력은
they're starting to
뭔데
get it.
결국에는 근데 진짜 AP는 뭔데 약간 이렇게 아직도 계산을 계속 해야 된다는 게 좀 그렇고 그러면 뉴비들한테는 더 힘든 게임의 접근성이 훨씬 높아지는 문제가 발생되는 거죠. 예. 그렇습니다. 일단 제이슨도 한번 물어볼게요. 제이슨, what about you? You got take on it?
I actually like the idea that Blue suggested of making like more condensed stats or anything. I mean, they're making things right now a lot simpler in general, right? They're working through the entire game of making things like a lot easier to look at, simplification of everything. I like the idea of Blue having like you remove like the hidden part. You have DR, you have evasion, you have AP, you have accuracy. No more like plus stats. I like the base idea of brackets of having like, hey, I want to work to something, and if I get to that point, hey, you get like a nice little bonus or something.
Yeah,
I
moves,
don't
and
mind
it
if it's
shouldn't be
there
that
or
way for
gone,
everyone,
like,
right?
It's either way for me, but I like the idea of making things a lot easier to
can
look
still
at.
min-max,
And it's not
but make it
saying,
easier
like,
to
hey,
understand.
It's hard for me personally because I've been playing the game for long enough to know like how all the systems work. But how much catering they're doing for new players, I think that would help them a lot as well, right? Because the amount of people that I
Correct.
still see in our guild, right? And we're talking like rank 2 or 3 or whatever you want to argue, guild on EU, right? So a lot of experienced players by theory, and they still go like, hey, like I want to grind that spot, and they go like, okay, buddy, but they're like 200 AP below without it knowing and stuff, right? It's like even in our guild, people still like don't have a clue of like, hey, how much AP you need for the spot, what happens with AP past the spot, and all of a sudden, if you pass the AP cap, is it worth to go species damage? Is it worth to go like, you know, with the 5% cap on
Right.
area and stuff like that, right? It's like
You're studying
super
every
confusing
spot.
for new players. Like even experienced players are struggling like to find out, hey, Elvia has 5% damage bonus.
Dude,
what
like-
do you go afterwards?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Manos Topaz rings or something get pulled up because it has like +5 to all species or something, right?
Dude,
People come up
yes.
with crazy gear builds
You're
because
like-
of that, right? It's completely wilding.
Every time you get something done, there's always somebody who's just actually, if you put on Grunil armor, you can actually like, you know, you can grind way back.
Grunil
Like,
얘기하고
bro,
있어요,
give me a break, dude. Like, how am I
몇
supposed to
년이나
know
알려준
this? Right?
Yeah.
How am I
I
supposed to know
remember
this?
like we had one guy, Elvia Hex,
So-
right? On Calphi on Elvia. He was running, I think it was Manos Topaz rings or something, because they gave like
Manos Topaz
+8.
rings?
Yeah.
I think it was Topaz rings. I might be wrong here. The game is not open. I can't look it up. But I think it was like Manos Topaz rings because they gave like extra species damage, and it would
believe it
only
is the
work if you
Topaz,
still have
yeah.
a certain AP cap of that shit. You needed to be a full gear lord. But he would pull crazy numbers on Hex all of a sudden because of that. It's
Wait, that has
just make
demi-human
it
damage
easier
on
for
it?
everyone.
Whoa,
Yeah,
extra
that was for Elvia.
Oh,
Elvia
except
Hex. Exactly.
humans and demi-humans. Okay, so it's just monster damage.
Yeah,
Okay.
so even the damage thing, it's like the one thing. Okay, so numbers is like obviously condensing it is better, and I don't think just because you've been playing for a long time, it's more fun adding more numbers that you have to calculate separately. But one thing I'm not talking about Throne and Liberty at all. It's just a very small example. A very fun part of Throne and Liberty is when I'm in a call, we're running dungeons. We go, oh shit, I just hit a 4.2 crit, and they can see it on their screen. Like we're just running the same exact content 6 times through the day, and in the 4th run, yo, I just hit a 4 point because he gets to see it, right? It makes it more meaningful too. Simplified numbers, but they also show it on the screen. But obviously, something with the coding is wrong.
Well-
that Jay said, right?
well, they've
cause, like
also-
screen pollution, resolution pollution.
I mean, look at the numbers that they have for their skills, right? We look at the numbers. Let's be honest. When we
What
look
the
at our
fuck do they
skill
mean?
damage numbers, we're looking at, wow, that number's big. This means nothing to us, right?
It's-
It
we're
could
just
be
seeing how
15,000
fast
times
it's going
3.
down.
We don't know what the that means, bro. Like it's
You only compare it.
no, it's 15,000 times 3, and you're like, oh, 3 hits, and then it's like max 13 hits, and you're like, wait, what? Like, we still don't understand what the fuck is going on with our goddamn skill trees, man. I'm a veteran player, been doing it for 6 years. I can't read my own skill tree. I don't know how much. People ask me, how much damage does that do? It does a lot of damage. Like, I have no fucking idea. It's the truth. There's no real way to
shit.
know, right? So, like, I think that, like, better clarity on how much damage you're
clarity is
doing
like-
and, like, damage numbers in general are very critically important to the game. And like simplifying the stats is the first step there.
But I agree.
Yeah. 그래서 지금까지도 얌얌님도 똑같이 느껴질지 모르겠는데 몇 년을 했는데도 누가 물어본대요. 이 스킬은 얼마나 데미지? 그냥 겁나 쎄. 이렇게밖에 대답 못한대요. 자기도 몰라. 그래서 일단 숫자 표도 없고 표시도 없고 몹 칠 때 그리고 뭐 무슨 스킬은 뭐 700%고 곱하기 3인데 곱하기 13까지 된다. 뭐 이상한 거 뭐 이상한 이제 달려 있잖아요. 스킬 읽을 때.
I agree, banana.
아직도 그거를 누가 물어보면 이거 딜 얼마 들어가? 이거는 겁나 센 거임. 이렇게밖에 대답 못 한대. 몇 년 동안 했는데 자기도 자기 스킬 모른다고.
I'll talk about
어이없는
class
거잖아요. 몇
modifiers
년을
next, okay?
해왔는데
I know there's some requests for it.
직업처럼 근데 이제 직업이죠. 네, 야면님도 비슷한 경험 있나요?
저희도 PVP 말고 이제 사냥해서
그러니까 사냥 얘기예요 지금 사냥 얘기.
사냥해서 이제 템을 맞췄어요. 액세서리를 띄웠는데 내가 얼마나 세졌는지 안 느껴지는 거예요. 그래서 사람들한테 물어봤어요. 이거 스펙업 했는데 왜 똑같죠? 했는데 이제 저한테 길드 고인물이 와서 말해줘요. 님 1시간 동안 잡템 재보세요. 1시간 동안 잡템 몇 개 줬는지 재보면은 얼마나 세졌는지 느낄 수 있다고. 나 그거 듣고 처음에 머리가 띵했어요. 이게 뭔 개소리냐고 게임하는데.
Yeah.
눈으로 바로 못 봐. 내 스펙업을.
Yeah.
It'll go up as a
So,
YouTube video, Muse, if you miss it.
Yam's equivalent of that experience of how Blue says, like, if someone asks how much damage does this skill do, and he's like, this is a big skill. He had a similar experience, as in, like, if people, because he's an experienced player,
Of
and
course.
Koreans are really, really into numbers, even in PvE. We all know Koreans play way more PvE, right? Like, they're really into the stats in PvE. And they're like, yo, I just got this huge ass, like, accessory upgrade, and I can't feel the difference. And then the most veteran player in the guild chat would write, "Yo, just keep farming that same mobs for 1 to 2 hours, and then you'll be able to figure it out a little bit."
Mhm.
That's the solution.
Correct.
From the longest veteran
yes.
player
Mhm.
in a PvE guild, his way of teaching a new player about how much stronger he got is, oh, with those new accessories that you just got, great. Okay, just farm these mobs for 1 to 2 hours, and then you'll see how much more damage you're doing after a few hours.
Yep. Exactly.
And that's
it's
the
ridiculous.
only solution that the most experienced player has in
Yes.
grinding with the numbers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and that's-
definitely numbers need to do something here. Something
And-
with the stats, definitely.
and that also, like, again, like
Yeah.
that would help the global labs too. We can't test shit on the global labs because the damage is fucked. And we can't tell because, like, again, why does the global lab have damage numbers and we don't? Just make them toggleable. You can toggle them on, you can toggle them off. Like, that would help with this too. Simplify stuff, give
I
us
heard-
damage numbers.
So the rumors are that it's gonna affect lag, right? Like the coding isn't there. The way that they coded the game is that if they added
make it
damage numbers for everybody,
toggleable.
it's just gonna destroy the game.
Make it toggleable, bro. There
What
ain't
if-
no
would that-
way. Okay,
Wouldn't
here's
that
the
still
thing.
destroy it?
Do
Like,
you want
what
the-
if like half the player base starts toggling it on
Well,
and it just lags?
do you want the
crash?
honest truth? They're gonna tell us
Yes.
that it's game breaking and that they can't do it until their stock goes down, and then suddenly they're gonna be like, "Wait a minute! Look, we can do this! It's crazy!
Oh, we figured it out.
Yeah,
oh,
look
wait,
how
we found
quickly
out
that
it's just-
happened. That's insane." Like, no, it's definitely possible. There's no way that is gonna be the thing that causes lag. They just introduced people can literally show their pets in PvP. Give me a break, dude.
Yeah.
Like there's
I
the
always have pets
fairy
on.
just got a skin. Like, bro, that's all that shit's hidden
what?
anyway.
Is it
like-
fairy skin?
Yeah.
Ooh.
You can swipe
Who's
20
go-
bucks for
who
5%
buys
death
who
penalty.
buys that though? Like you
Well,
can't even
it's a
see it.
death-
bro.
Oh, I was considering
It's
to
death
buy the
penalty.
death penalty
It's-
You
reduction.
can't even
Death-
see it, bro. How rich are
Well,
you?
no,
Why are you
hold
buying a
on, hold
fairy
on.
The
skin?
skin is whatever. It's the
Bro
effect.
bear.
Nobody cares for the
It's
skin,
death
bro.
penalty resist. So you lose less
Oh,
crystals if you
there's
have
an
the fairy
effect on
skin.
it.
Yes.
There's an effect.
It's also
Okay,
super
okay.
lewd.
Fuck
It's
the
the
skin, bro.
Gabelius
Nobody
outfit.
cares.
Yeah. Not that
That's super-
matters.
What did he say?
Nothing.
But actually, bro, can you ask Gambiam something?
Yeah, what's up?
Does he know why Global Lab is to this day still a different game version or whatever than our real server? Why damage is still not the same on Global Lab as in our actual game?
Okay, yeah.
Because you
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
test things on Global Lab, and it's annoying.
그 글로벌 서버 있잖아요. 그 연구소 서버? 왜 연구소 서버는 완전 다른 게임이냐고 여쭤보네요. 테스팅이 아예 불가능하고 완전 딴 게임으로 되는지 아직도 혹시 한국 측에서 아시는지 그거 이유에 대해서.
저도 정확한 이유는 모르겠어요. 저희도
몰라요?
그거에 대해 좀
아.
불만이에요. 왜
오케이.
연구소인데 테스트할 수 있는 환경도 구성 안 돼 있고 그리고 PVP 데미지가 본 서버랑 다른지도 이해가 안 되고 저희도 그건 항상 불만이 있습니다.
Okay. So you're saying Koreans are just as clueless? They don't understand why it's a testing server where you can't test anything and why the PvP damage is different than the actual live servers, like the way the
Correct.
PvP works. They have zero clue why it's like that. Even the Korean players have no idea. They have no explanation. And it's been a huge thorn in their ass for the longest time too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a lot of questions in my chat about damage modifiers and what everybody thinks about like damage modifiers on classes. So like Dark Knight, for example, does about 35 million% less damage to a striker or a mystic. Specifically to a striker or a mystic. So like every single class in the game, I'm explaining this to Bro Bear for the first time. So I'll know if I get it right. Every single class in the game has a percent damage modifier to when they're damaging other classes in the game. For example, you play Sage, so you do 110% more damage to a witch. Or you do 10% more damage to a witch, or you'll do 20% damage less to a tamer, or you'll do 15% more damage to a striker. It is what it is, right? Every single class has damage modifiers on it and percentages for how much percent of their damage is actually reaching the class that they're actually hitting. Okay, so like I'm curious what the Koreans think of these modifiers. I know Jason, you know a lot about it. Jason, how do you feel about the damage modifiers? I feel like the problem is I'll give my opinion first. I feel like the problem is right now that damage is like fundamentally integral to like the balance, like their PvP balance. So like if they ripped it out, they would have to do there would be a period of where they had to do a lot of PvP adjusting for damage. But like I think that we could get through that if we had to. But like Jason, what are your thoughts on it?
Can I just clear it up before I misunderstand this entire conversation?
Mhm.
So you're telling me certain classes. So
No,
one
all classes.
No. So class A. So
Mhm.
all this is for all classes, but class A has X modifier on this class on class B,
Mhm.
but then another modifier on class C,
Correct.
and another modifier
So-
on class D.
Yeah, so for example, a Dark Knight is going to do 85% damage to a striker, but 105% damage to a ranger.
Okay.
And it is like this for every
Okay,
class
that's
in the
crazy.
game. Yeah,
And every class just has different modifiers
For every
depending
single
on
other
what class
class.
they're hitting.
correct.
Whatever class they're hitting is a different
Yes.
modifier, and every class has that against every other class.
Correct.
Okay, now we can. Okay, so I am understanding that
Mm-hmm.
correctly. What the heck? Okay,
You
that's
can actually
crazy.
look them up on the official
I
webpage
just
as
wanna
well,
point
by the
out-
way. It's down because
Yeah.
of maintenance right now.
I do just want to point out that like that expression that Brobear just gave us is what a new player is trying to
Oh,
figure out.
you
Like,
see
what the
this?
fuck is going on with the? Why? Can you just tell me how much damage I'm gonna fucking do? Why can't we
Yeah,
condense
like-
all this shit, bro? Like, why the
I've
fuck
been
are new
playing-
players
I
having to
play-
fight through this?
I play this game every day for 4 months, and I did not know this was happening. And now that I know, it's hurting my brain more. I
Yeah.
wish that you didn't tell me that. I wish you did not tell me that.
You're welcome.
Now my brain hurts more, and now I feel like I have to read
Welcome.
into something if I was going to continue this after moving to NA.
Welcome.
Thank
I
you
mean,
so
there's
much.
also just so much hidden things that people don't get told about unless some other experienced PvP player goes in and is like, oh, by the way, did you know about this?
Bro,
And then he
Rain
explains
used to
it for
delete.
5 minutes just like now, and then you're like, why?
Rain just used to decrease your AP by like 5. Like if it was raining in game. Like it was crazy. There's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Now, but back to class modifiers.
Anyway, yeah, modifiers, yeah.
I think it was their idea way, like their original idea of balancing between some classes, right? How like strikers, mystics were supposed to be like a counter to like magic damage class and stuff, right? I think that's
I know
how
it still
their
says
idea
it,
of
Eva.
balancing it was, without making them too broken for other classes, right? So if you were like, okay, I want this class to counter this class, but I don't want it to be broken overall, then I give it class modifier X and something, and that's just how it works, right?
Okay, yeah.
With how much people hate, like, oh, this class completely hard counters me, I can't even fight it at all, I don't even want to bother about it, right? With how much people hate that, and how much people want balance overall, I think it would be fine if they just remove them, look at the overall balancing again, and like retouch some classes. I don't think they need to be in the game. Maybe for range damage. I think range damage is the only example where there might be the need of it. But then overall you can also just lower the damage if all of a sudden if you remove the class modifiers and the range damage is too much, you can just remove the damage overall, right? I don't think there's a requirement for certain classes to deal 10 times more damage to each other. The idea behind it is not bad, but it's just overall
There
too
are no
complicated
class-
for no reason.
Well, there's
There's
not
no
supposed to
reason.
be there's not supposed to be class counters in BDO anyway. Like
Yeah,
What did you just send me? I opened it and I just see freaking charts for every single class.
yes, I told you this is how complicated it gets.
Okay,
Go to
now
Sage.
looking at Ranger.
Yeah.
and there goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16,
Every
17, 18,
class.
19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 25 different modifiers that the Ranger has against.
Yeah.
So
So
now
Yes.
but then there's other classes that have the exact 25
yeah, it's every class.
different modifiers.
Look at him figure it out. Yeah, it's every one class. So there's 26 classes in the game, right? Or there's 27 classes in the game. Because Scholar hasn't been added yet. But every single class has a modifier against every single other class. So for Ranger, doing damage to other Rangers, you're actually doing 105% damage. But if a Ranger starts damaging a Warrior, you're only doing 90% of your damage. If you start damaging a Guardian, you're doing 99% damage. Now we come down to Sork. Sork actually does 110% damage to Witch, right? You come down to Berserker. Berserker does 118% damage to a Kunoichi. And so on down the... Look at his face, bro. He's mentally imploding
But
right now.
it's-
Um,
but the crazy part is if you look at it, right, like the
translate this?
I always thought
99% shit.
I thought it was a.
What did the
wait.
Koreans say? Did you translate
This is a
this yet?
video game, right?
Yeah.
This
Did
is
you
a video
translate
game,
this
right?
yet?
No, I need to. I haven't
Yeah,
read
yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay, so
Because I'm sure
let
they're
me go.
lost.
네, 얌얌님 준비되셨나요? 이거 전 놀랐어요. 얌이는 당연히 다 알고 계셨을 테지만, 네, 클래스마다 다른 클래스에 대한 모디파이가 다 다르다는 사실은 저는 처음 들었거든요. 뉴 플레이어라서. 예를 들면 세이지가 다른 20 몇 가지 클래스한테 딜이 박히고 무슨 효과가 들어가는 게 다 각각 다르다는 거. 그쵸?
네네네.
그리고 또 똑같이 모든 클래스가 똑같이 그게 있다는 거죠. 그런 모디파이어가.
모르셨나요?
아주 지금 내가 그러면 이 이유가
Wait, Dark Knight is actually not doing 100% damage to anyone.
Yeah, I was about to say, right? If you look
Except
at DK,
other
just
Dark
nerf the
Knights.
damage overall.
아,
Except other Dark Knights.
Okay.
The other TKs.
네.
Literally.
네.
Just remove
그러니까
5%
얌얌님,
damage from DK and make the modifiers to 100.
이거 맞는 거예요? 이게 맞나?
You do more damage to yourself.
저희도 왜 있는지 모르겠어요. 저희도 그 시스템이 왜 존재하는지 왜 이게 필요한지 모르는데 일단 있으니까 아, 그렇구나 하고 넘기고 있어요.
Okay, so he's saying he just kept it very short. He said the way that they see it is okay, so it's in the system. They decided to go with it. Okay, that's that they gave up on trying to understand it or learn about it. Like that was his response just now. He's like, okay, they put it in the game. Cool. I guess it's there. Yeah, and that's their take. Well, that's his take. Like, so we're supposed to know all this.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, I don't
And the
think you're
game doesn't
supposed to
tell
know
you.
it because
The game doesn't
what do
tell
you
us
do
though.
about it, right?
The game didn't tell us. The game didn't tell me for 4 months. I played every single day, 8 to 12 hours a day, every single day, 7 days a week for 4 months straight. The game did not tell me once. Like in the
It's on the
tutorials
webpage.
or not.
That's all about it.
Oh, it's on the webpage.
You can find it on the
So-
official webpage by now.
Oh,
They
so I
added
gotta
it.
study the webpage too now to enjoy the video. Game.
Yeah, bro. You work your way through it, every single article. You go. Now, but like, the thing is, it's in the game now, and you know the numbers. But what are you gonna do with it, right? Like, there's nothing to gain from knowing the number. Because what are you gonna do? You can't change the number. If you gotta fight a Sork, you gotta fight a Sork, right? You cannot fight him, right? That's it. But it's not like you can adjust anything of the number, right? So it's like
Yeah, it's a
you
little
live
crazy.
with them.
So
They should
now it's
remove
too
them,
late,
right?
isn't it? Now it's too late. I feel like. What are they gonna do now? They can't
I mean, they can
just put
they can
everything.
remove the
set-
modifiers and adjust the damage. Because if
Correct.
DK has 95% damage on every single class except for DK,
Just
just
nerf
lower
her
the overall
damage.
DK
Yeah.
damage by 5%.
Yeah,
Do the
literally.
damage modifier to 100.
Correct.
Zerka has 100%,
Oh no, but
has
so for
110%
other
on
classes
everything.
they could do
buff
that
the
then, right?
damage and remove the modifier. They can just do that for
So
everything.
then why was it there in the first place? That's what I want to know.
Because then
Oh, we
they
don't
can
know? Okay,
implement.
we don't know.
Then they
okay,
for
good.
sure can implement counter classes if they want to, but they chose not to kind of go that way. Like Striker Mystic, I'm sure that these modifiers are basically there for Striker Mystic specifically in most cases.
Yeah.
It's-
100% they added
yes.
them with that.
correct. It's so that like
Ah.
Striker Mystic feel tankier against the magic damage
Okay.
classes in the game, right? Like,
Okay.
but only against those classes. Against other classes, they're gonna feel less tanky. But like, there's better ways to approach this. You could literally just give them a passive that increases their DR against magic damage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there you go.
And
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of like literally
25 different
lowering
modifiers.
the modifier, right? Like, it's obnoxious. Anyway, chat wanted to know about it. So like, Jason, do you have
Sure.
anything you want to discuss before I ask them one more time?
There was one thing I give me a minute, I forgot it. What?
Okay. Can you
Didn't
ask?
you also want to? You said that you thought Devios had a couple points that he should.
I
be
already
voiced
went-
out.
we went through them all,
like,
so-
oh, you went through them. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What
thought there was
can you
more.
ask the Craze if they have anything else before Jason has his thing?
오케이. 그 이제 한국 측에서도 혹시 채팅 또는 얌얌에게 개인적으로 또 추가하고 싶은 포인트가 있을까요? 아니면 궁금한 점?
저희 시청자분들 궁금한 거 있으신가요?
이 게임 점점 알아갈수록 조금 The more I'm learning about this game, very very interesting.
What do you say?
I feel like I started dating a girl, right? And then I just found out
밸런스는 얘기했어요. 밸런스.
Girl?
like I fell in love with a girl, right? No, I'm just like let's pretend BDO, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I feel like I got into a relationship and she just had a shit ton of baggage, like dead bodies in her closet.
She
This
was
is literally
super
how I
hot
feel
though,
now.
right?
Right. She was super hot.
Worth it.
Well, it's the
I'm
crazy
not
hot
doubting
scale
it,
from
but the
like
amount of
be honest.
bodies coming out, the amount of bodies in the closet is now questioning the worth.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's still super hot to me, but now it's
she's
like
still above the line. You're fine.
yeah, okay,
Like,
yeah.
She's above that
Damn.
hotness crazy scale. You're fine. So they didn't have anything else.
Honestly, yeah, there you go.
Jason, did you figure out what your thing was?
Yeah, actually.
야면님 없으신 거예요,
one
야면님?
small.
Oh. Okay. All right, Jason, go ahead.
I think he's talking.
Okay, and there was two small things. One was for Yum Yum. I already asked Robert to translate it once in the chat, right? But how do they feel about the Dekia Olun's fixed respawn time? Because it's very frustrating to gain AP and play better classes, but not gain any trash loot because you're waiting for golems to respawn right now. It's very frustrating because there's a fixed respawn rate of 2 minutes and 7 seconds for the people that don't know in chat. If you kill a Dekia Olun's golem in faster than 2 minutes and 7 seconds, you spend 20 seconds waiting for the golem to respawn, and you're fixed at a certain amount of trash loot. You cannot go past 3k blue loot score trash loot. That's not possible because there's a fixed respawn rate. If you get AP, nothing changes.
No
This
returns.
dude is sweating balls
having higher gear,
in
you get no
PvE.
returns.
Jason, you are sweating balls.
What do you mean?
Holy shit!
You
Actually,
get a
2 minutes and
for
7
Dekia
seconds,
Olun.
they just don't spawn any faster than that. What the fuck? Exactly 67
we have like 20 seconds downtime on every
Alright, go
golem.
ahead,
It's so annoying.
Go ahead, ask me.
얌얌님 한국 분들한테 질문이 들어왔어요. 얌얌님한테도 그 데키아 올런 맞나 한국말로 올런즈라고
맞아요.
하나요?
올룬.
데키아 올런즈에서
Good job,
그
Jason. You
리스폰
spoke
타이머가
Korean.
딱 고정이잖아요.
Olun.
그래서 우리 파티가 아무리 강해도 아무리 간 잡템이나 벌 수 있는 게 고정이 돼 있다는 게 너무 말이 어이없대요.
아,
그러니까 내가
이제
빨리 죽였어. 근데 우리 파티가 너무 강하기
No, you're good,
때문에
Jason. I like that you
20몇 초 동안
proposed it.
가만히 있고 아무것도 못해. 그 다음에 또 다시 한번 한번 로테이션 하고 또 20초 동안 대기. 그러면 이제 자기가
laughing.
열심히 벌었던
They know.
기어 스코어가 완전 이제 그 디미니싱
If you kill
리턴이
quickly,
나죠.
you'll be a king
돌아오는
and
게
wait for more than
없어지니까
20
데키
seconds.
올른즈에 대해서.
Bro, they know.
한국인들은 그거에 대한 불만이 없나요?
They know. They're like, oh yeah, no, this shit sucks.
솔직히.
근데 막 750, 740대 기어 스코어 있는 분들도 데키아 올른즈 하는데 불만은 없어요?
Can't raise your
그게
king.
기다리는 걸로 당연한 걸로.
이슈화가 되진 않았는데 얘기가 나오긴 했어요. 이제
오케이.
잡템이 5,500개까지밖에 안 나온다. 이제 2분 내로 잡으면 그만큼 기다려야 되니까 더 이상 안 오른다. 그 얘기가 나오긴 했는데 크게 이슈화까지는 안 되는데 개인적으로는 되게 이상하다 느껴요. 저도. 애초에 떼지려고 RPG 게임을 하는 거잖아요. 근데 남들이랑
Same.
템이 어느 순간부터 내가 떼도 나보다 낮은
It is
사람이랑
what it
똑같은
is.
수치만큼 먹는다는 게 저는 이해가 안 되긴 해요. 저도.
아,
Yeah, we have the
오케이,
same
오케이.
problem here.
Okay, so
생각보다
he's
이유가
saying
없는
that
We call them
in Korea,
degenerates.
they've obviously known about it because they have people like freaking
Yeah.
like you see like an average Korean streamer, he has like freaking 741 gear score on Dicky Olins, right? But then they haven't really been complaining too. It's not been an issue, like a big issue, but they have been kind of complaining about it a little bit, like it's an uncomfort. But then he also thinks that the worst part of it is that they're capped at what like 5 point something K loot, trash loot. But then the fact is, but then some people are way lower gear in the party, but they're getting the exact same trash loot because there's that.
Yeah, because-
the capped. It's
Oh.
capped.
Yeah, exactly right.
Oh,
You
well, in
just
that
don't get
case-
anything from going a certain amount of AP, and it's
In
like
that case,
frustrating
well,
because
bro.
like
I would like
right
to
now playing with
message
Tab
choice
Expert,
for
right?
a
And I got
Dekia
myself
Olins
a
party
Tab
then.
mobile with a yellow upgrade, which is like a 10 AP gain in theory for PvE, and
Hashtag
it's not gonna
leeching.
affect. It's like 100 billion investment for PvE,
Right.
but it's not gonna give me a single trash loot more because you're at the cap. You can't get more. Right?
Yeah.
And it's just frustrating design. I'm not saying like it's a huge topic. I just wanted to know if they complain to PA about it, so maybe
Yeah.
they fix it.
Oh,
That's all that I wanted.
I
to
didn't
know.
ask if they
I
complained.
just wanted to know if
그러면
yeah.
얀면은 혹시 이거에 대해서 퍼러한테 얘기는 들어가긴 했나요? 플레이어 측에서? 완전 그 기어템 막 100억, 1000억 투자해가지고 기어는 훨씬 올랐는데 데키아 올랜드 같은 구간에서는 잡템 1도 안 올라간다는 거에 대해서 아니면 이거는 아직 그 정도의 이슈도 안 된 건가요 아직?
근데 막 커뮤니티 사이트나 그런데
아예
올라오거나 한 건 제가 아직 보지는 못했어요. 길드 채팅이나 월드 채팅으로 간간히 나오는 이슈긴 했는데
오케이.
커뮤니티 자체에서 언급이 아직 크게 안 됐어요.
Okay. So on the Korean side, he personally has not seen is unaware of any complaints on the actual community websites or InVen or anything, but he's seen it very, very seldomly in guild chats or world chats about people cleaning, but that's it. About the situation you mentioned. Jason is frozen.
Wait, I see it. Yeah,
Okay,
I
there you
see
go.
it.
Yeah.
Is there stuff
Did you hear what I say? Or
So until you said like
you guys are fucking
he
idiots.
he
Why
hasn't
is his
seen a lot
name
of it on,
Jesus?
yeah.
on like the
He
community
hasn't seen
webpage.
it
And
on
then-
any like invents or community websites and stuff himself, so he's assuming it's not a big of an issue yet. And then the only times he's seen it mentioned was maybe in the world chat every now and then, or in guild chats
Okay.
every now and then.
Okay.
So I think
I was just curious
it'll
if
only
they've,
become
like,
a
reported
legit
it.
issue when people are clearing Deki Owens as fast as you are. When there's more people like you, then it'll be an issue. But
Yeah,
right
you
now, I think it's
first
just
world
like so
fuck.
far. Yeah, it's like so far up there. 지금은 그
The
정도.
fuck out of here,
You don't
dude.
need that much AP. You don't need that much AP. I'm
The
telling
same
you.
dude asked for the fairy
그런 게
skins,
아님?
I'm telling you.
저희 아주
한국에서-
한국하고도
네.
데키아 올린 돈 분도 엄청 많아졌어. 최근 데키아
최근에?
패치 이후로 그냥 전체는 꽉 찰 정도로 엄청나게 활발한데 아직 그 이슈가 제대로 공론화가 되진 않았어요. 그냥
아직 기어가
Mayhem X,
거기까지
I
안
sent
갔나?
it.
아니요 기어는 다들 높으신데 다른 이슈에
그냥 참을만
묻혔다고
한가?
그냥 그냥 이슈가 너무
okay.
많아요. 한국 서버는.
Okay. So he's saying recently after Dekia changes, like an entire channel will be filled with people just running Dekia Olins. But even
Oh.
so, they haven't been complaining, and his assumption is because there's so much other shit going on in the game that Dekia Olins is such like down the list, he thinks, for the players.
Yeah,
kind of, at the
by all
moment.
means, it's nothing major. I was just
Yeah.
curious if PA even knows about it, because I think PA does not know that it actually
I don't
tiny
think
gates people.
they don't know
right? Or, like,
about the
it
big
caps
ones,
people.
so they definitely don't know about how
Yeah,
this
okay,
is
okay.
gatekeeping the end game players a lot.
Okay, cool. I was just curious, right? It's not a major change. Take your own, it's still
Actually.
broken, so I'm
Yeah.
still gonna go grind it, right? By all means.
Yeah.
But I was just curious because it's just frustrating to not get something for investing 100 billion in your PvE gear, but
It
That's
would
it.
doom a little bit.
was not a major
Yeah.
change that I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad. You should always
Just
bring
didn't-
stuff. I like it.
파티
Like, this
사냥을
gets
안
us talking.
좋아해서 많이 안 하다 보니까 아직
진짜.
이슈가 안 됐대. Oh wait, I have a chatter that said, 그런가? 이거 얌변님도 이건 케이스 케바케일 것 같은데. So apparently Korean chatter said 한국 유저들은 파티 사냥을 안 좋아해서 많이 안 하다 보니까 아직 이슈가 안 된 듯요. So there's someone who commented they think that in Korea a lot of players don't like to party grind, and that's why he thinks it's not a big of an issue.
Is that true though? Because like I don't feel like
That's what I want to
true.
say. It's case by case. I don't
yeah,
think it's true.
I don't think that's true because
yeah.
that's not what we got
I
told
think they
in a
come to
previous.
accept not party grinding. I don't think it's like
Yeah.
they don't like party grinding.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you does Yum Yum? Yeah.
That's so racist. I told you like 5 times.
What do you want me to? Oh, okay, say it again. Say it again.
Did you call me
Say it
yum
again.
yum? Yum yum?
No, I didn't.
Yum yum?
I was talking about how nice and tasty my Cheez-Its are.
Okay, yum yum. Yum
So
yum.
what's it? What is it?
Yumby yum.
Yum
It's just
yum.
yum and
Okay.
yum with a B inside.
All
in the
right,
middle.
yo, just ask
Yum,
Yum
be
Yum.
Yeah.
Ask Yum Yum if there's anything else he would like to discuss.
혹시 또 다른 토픽 있는지 더 물어보고 싶어요. 이번에 좀 한국 보이스가 좀 더 언급을 해줘야 되는데 이제 수다를 많이 떠다 보니까. 예.
그 방금 아까
아무거나.
얘기했던 주제 있잖아요. 거기 한
네.
가지 더 보태면은
네.
이게 한국만의 이슈인지는 모르겠지만
네.
자신의 스펙을 속이고 오는 사람이 엄청 많아요. 서로의 아이템을 확인할 수가 없잖아요. 그래서 나는 316공이다 하고 왔는데 310인 경우도 있고 이제 언론이 숙련되지 않아서 무섭잖아요. 그래서 그냥
네.
공격력 수정을 다 빼고 방어력 수정만 끼고 오는 사람도 있고
그죠.
그런 경우 케이스가 좀 있어요. 한국에는.
he wants his 그 궁금한 거죠. 북미도 비슷한지?
네, 북미도 혹시 그런 유저들이 있나요?
있을 것 같아요. 근데 okay. So you're saying like example about Olins and shit. It's like Olins is a scary grind spot because you could die very
Mhm.
easily, right?
Yep.
So he's saying that there's no way that you can see who's actually entering your party because you want a well-geared person in your party to make it efficient.
Yep.
But he's saying that a lot of people are afraid to die, so they'll go more defensive gear and then take off their AP and lie about their gear and stats just to be a part of that Dekia Olin's run. And
So
there's nothing you
exactly
can
what
do
I
about
said.
it.
I said I would
So-
like to leech. I mean, participate
yeah,
in a
so-
Dekia Olin's party.
So he's curious. Do you think that this is frequent? This is also happening in NA and EU.
We are literally
Probably.
the kings and queen of leeching. You can't even grind Gython without literally having a band of seagulls from Finding Nemo show up and going leash, like mine, mine. Like it's crazy. People leech all the time. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
What about you? I know NA. I think there are a lot of people like that for sure.
I usually grind with people in my guild, so I roughly know their gear. The thing about their gear owners though, since they added the new artifacts, it's become a lot more easier. Like at daytime, you usually don't die anymore on daytime Olons. If you have the new artifacts, nighttime is still a little bit scary, sure, but on daytime, usually you don't die anymore. So people just rock the full ape.
Okay. 그래서 북미는 블루님께서는 자기도 그럴 것 같기도 하고, 자기도 무조건 그럴 것 같대요 앞으로. 어차피 템을 못 보니까 자기도
If he says Finding Nemo,
템 속에서 들어갈 거라고 했고요 앞으로.
you know the translation got across.
말 다 했죠. 근데 EU 측 그러니까 뭐 제이슨님 같은 경우에는 같은 길드원들끼리 하는 거기 때문에 어느 정도 속임수가 좀 덜 되고, 그리고 이제 특히 그 새로운 아티팩트가 나왔잖아요. 그것 때문에 이제 낮에는 거의 죽는 경우는 없는 것 같대요. 밤은 아직도 무섭지만 낮에 돌 때는 AP를 많이 쓰는 것 같대요. AP 템을 많이 끼는 것 같대요. 자기가 느끼기엔.
맞아요.
예.
그리고 그럼 이제 질문 하나만 해도 될까요?
네네. 계속 질문 더 해달래요. 예.
크론석으로 강화했을 때 이번에 스택 플러스 1 되는 거 혹시 그거 북미 쪽은 어떻게 생각하는지 여기 궁금해요. 저희 일단 제 의견은 되게 이상하다 생각해. 해주는 건 좋은데 왜 내가 크론석 100개 쓴 거랑 11,600개 써서 동대부 트라이하는 거랑 똑같은 스택이 오르는지 전 그게 이해가 안 되거든요. 혹시 북미 쪽은 그 패치에 대해 어떻게 생각하는지 한번 물어봐 줄 수 있나요?
비교하면 되죠. 100크론 쓰는 거랑
11,000개 쓰는 거랑 똑같이 플러스 1 스택이 되는 거.
11,000개? 11,000? Same stack? 스택이 똑같이 올라가요?
네?
스택이 똑같이 쌓여요?
네,
1스택이에요 다? 100이든
No, I am not sleeping.
Okay, so now he's asking about, the recent
Checking
changes
Discord
about the
DMs.
cron stones adding fail stacks, right?
Okay.
So he wants to know about EU and NA. He thinks it's a good thing that came into the game. It's not a bad thing, okay? Because, you want fail stacks from using crons. It's not bad. But he thinks it's stupid how you can get the same fails. Like, when you're using 100 crons, you get one fail stack. You can use 11,000 crons and still get one fail stack. And he wants to know NA and EU's opinion on that.
Oh, for fuck's sake, they're nickel and diming us out of fail stacks, bro. Like, you got one fail stack per... I think that's the price you pay for croning. Back in my day, cron stones never gave fail stacks. Hey, back in my day,
well,
silver
that's the same with
weight.
everybody. But
I think that's
he
the
just
price.
thinks that introducing the system, they could have taken a different route than 100 and
I'll counter.
11,000 having the exact same fail stack.
I'll counter with... Okay. Don't they think that accessory enhancements that cost 150 billion silver a click, or whatever it might, should give, like if it's a pen accessory enhancement, shouldn't that give 6 fail stacks if it fails?
Accessory tap system also.
Accessory taps only give 1+1. Why should crons be giving more?
So you're saying that it's okay, like it's not a huge issue with the crons.
I wouldn't say
giving
it's a
all the
huge
same
issue,
stuff.
but like also. If they think that's an issue, well, the accessories need to be adjusted too, because accessories blowing up and only giving you +1 is brutal.
I mean, I don't like the fancy or whatever with the Cronstone changes. I would have preferred maybe if with Cronstones getting more expensive, maybe the ratio of how often it downgrades could have been lowered a little bit, right? I don't know the exact ratio, like 60-40 or something.
You still get +6. No,
not sure
that's
exactly
not
what the
they're
numbers
saying.
are. But like they could have lowered it a little bit so it doesn't downgrade as frequently, because it's like super frustrating, right? If your 10 Devil Wrecker downgrades to try, you're having a bad day, man. You're having a bad day. You're paying 30 billion for a Pen Devil Wrecker click and it downgrades to try. You are not having a good day.
Mine downgraded to base. You got pride?
You play the game.
If you go straight from tech back to base, you just delete the base. You delete the base, you get a new one.
It happened.
Right. So I think that ratio could have lowered a little bit, right?
Okay.
Shut up,
일단 블루님께서는 그 크론에 대해서는
basically the
너무
same.
새로운 거고 뭐 없던 게 추가된 거라 큰 이슈는 아닌 것 같은데 그거를 따지다 보면 딴 거를 따져야 되는 게 예를 들면 액세서리 태핑할 때는 훨씬 더 예민하잖아요. 근데 액세서리 태핑할 때도 터지는 것 또는
That's what I named
다운그레이딩이
it.
무조건이잖아요.
It's a good name.
음.
그러면 그 또한 스태킹이 달라야 되지 않을까? 악세 태핑할 때, 강화를 할 때
That's why
악세서리
they pay me.
강화는
I'm the
훨씬
comedian,
힘들고
Laufey.
투자가 더 들어가기 때문에
It
그것
is what it
또한
is.
스태킹이 더 추가되지 않나, 페어 스태킹이.
음.
그리고 이제
Ah, feels
제이슨님께서는
sticky.
그
I
다운그레이딩 하는
understood that word.
확률이
I
좀 덜
speak
됐으면
Korean.
좋겠대요. 악세에서. 왜냐면 데보가 트라이로 떨어지면은 지금 3주 동안 일한 게 사라진 거고 게임했던 목적이 사라지는 약간 이런
My
느낌이
favorite part of the
드니까
discussion so far is
그건
when
진짜
he was
검은 사람밖에
describing
없는 것
Divios to
같아요.
them,
그런
and
느낌.
all the Koreans
저
started going,
그
"Oh, and
얘기가
BDO
저희
faker, yeah."
저방 채팅창에도 나왔어요.
예.
크론속 써서 내가 강화했는데 왜 하락해야 되냐고 이게.
This shit
그렇지.
killed me.
예.
데브레이크 다 하는데 너무 박탈감 든다.
Yeah. So basically, as I was describing Jason's, someone else already wrote in the chat exactly in his Korean chat. Why am I crawling my accessories to degrade it and lose weeks of progress when I'm playing the game? And now I'm playing the game to not like he's playing the game and and he's back to where he was a month ago.
Because
And I
this
think
is
that's a
what
very BDO specific issue. And I think
because
it's not
this
helping.
is what fun looks like. Thousands of hours of
yes.
grinding, number go down. This is fun. It doesn't look
Yeah.
like fun. It doesn't feel like fun, but I promise you, you're not having fun. It is what it is. Like what are you supposed to say, right? Like, oh, now your accessory doesn't downgrade. Well, then you can just basically force accessories through. Like they'd have to increase accessory costs or like crown stones for accessory costs all the time. And EU's over here like crown stones.
Brother, you're saying that like consoles cost 1.6 million. I can tell you they have 3 million apiece, bro. A Pandamorica click costs you 35
This
billion,
is
my
such
friend.
an NA problem. Look, we did your problems.
It's
Now
not
we're
60
struggling with our
billion,
problem.
It's 35.
Click is 35 bill for an
I mean, it's
attempt.
like 11k
Like a
consoles,
pen?
no? That's like 33 million, no?
Yeah.
You pay 3
That's
million per
crazy.
console in EU. We're not paying 1.6
They're
million.
fighting
We're
from
paying
the
3 million per
fucking
console.
render.
That blacksmith in Velia is a robber, bro. I'm telling you. He's robbing the
That's
entire
Yeah,
crazy.
no, he says he's
Crazy.
poor, but we don't believe it. Robert, you good, man?
Oh, 35. No, I'm not good. I'm okay. I'm just gonna
He's
I'm gonna stop
processing
trying
to pay
to.
30 billion
I'm
for
gonna
it.
stop trying
Able
to
downgrade.
understand the game from now on. Whenever we do this, I'm just gonna literally just translate and not even try to understand what you guys are talking about. I think that's
Okay.
yeah. No, it's just too much in this game right now. Man. That's
Yep.
crazy.
Why use big word when small
I
word
gotta
do
translate
trick?
that. Okay. 그래서 블리님께서는 이제 저희가 이제 그 태핑 그 강화할 때 이 시스템이 문제가 있는데 약간 비꼬는 식으로 말을 했어요. 이게 재미다.
Car, house,
두 달
sea
동안
world,
모아둔 게 한 번에 사라지는
sea
게
Kevin, that
재미고
right there.
재미 없을 것 같.
I don't know
느낌상
if you want to see the
재미없지만
world or if you want to go to sea
약속할게
world.
이게 재미야.
Well, you
이런
know,
약간
the
비꼬면서
world,
얘기를
you know.
했고요. 제이슨 측에서는 이제
Oceans, sea
EU에서는
lions.
강화 한 번
Disney.
하는데
Wait,
너무 비싸다고. 그 이제 대보가 이제 동에서 유인가? 또 까먹었어. 4에서 5.
유에서 동.
U에서 동까지 가는 게 33 billion. 33
You got Russians on here? What would they ask
한번
for?
누르려면
330억.
330억.
I was gonna say something bad. But
근데
I'm gonna let that
눌렀는데
one go.
잃을 수가 있잖아.
I'm gonna.
네, 하락해요.
330억을 했는데 하락을 해버려. 그래가지고 이거 되게 검은 사막의 특징인 것 같아요. 솔직히 말씀드리면 되게
I don't think we're gonna see Russia on here
근데
until
이게
their IRL GVG
문제점이
is over.
뭐냐면 콘텐츠를 추가 안 하면서 재미를 보게끔 하는 것 같아요. 왜냐면 다 강화가 잘 되면은 콘텐츠를 와우처럼 콘텐츠를 계속 나와야 되거든요. 주기적으로 그쵸? 다음 템, 다음 맥스 레벨 이런 게 나와야 되기 때문에 그래서 문제인 것 같아요.
What? I'm
So
trying to
from my
relate to
take,
my
From what
audience.
I've heard from Jason and Blue also about the whole fun part is they're kind of cheating us in a way. That sounds bad, but they're cheating the content
So
system.
we got a
whereas
you
in
lead, you
WoW,
lose
you don't
situation.
degrade.
Hold on.
They add shit. They add shit every 6 months. They increase the max level. They add the best. They add new best in slot every six or whatever X months. They're making new shit all the time. But here they don't gotta make shit. You know why? Because you're breaking your own shit, so you're stuck until you get it. So it's kind of like a cheating system, I think, for the devs. which is okay. It's an abrasive take, but yeah, it seems like it's kind of a cheating way of doing it because like that saves them time from having to introduce more content. I think, right?
Okay, I missed
Well, you're
some of
spending.
that. You're gonna have to reiterate that a little bit more
Okay,
clearly.
oh no, that wasn't his. Yambiam's take was just agreeing on you with you guys.
Oh.
But then my input was by them doing that, it's kind of cheating us out of content because you work for months, you save up 33 bill, you press the tap, it degrades. Now you go to the same content loop again. So now they don't have to add new content, right? Whereas games like WoW, whatever, because you don't degrade. No, yeah. So you're not degrading in WoW. What do? They have to come out with new content every X months, or else the game dies.
Well,
because everyone's just maxed out for months at end.
Stop! You're breaking the fourth wall right now. Understand that they don't have to release. No. They don't have to release new content if they add a certain amount of RNG to their current content. It forces us to keep playing their old content.
Right.
It's been this way for 7 years. Don't fuck with this. We understand what's happening. No one says it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like it is what it is. Every game does this. Every game does this.
Wait, every game? What?
Don't fuck with the money.
Oh, right, my bad. Yeah. Every game does this, guys. So sorry, I forgot.
Every grindy game. Pick a grindy MMO. It does.
Every single game does this, where you work for months and then you lose your item.
Correct.
Sorry, I totally forgot. Every single game out there on the market right now.
Look at the Lost Ark enhancement system. It's just a straight kick in the balls.
Actually,
like you literally, you pull the
maybe.
lever and it kicks you in the balls. But like every once in a while, a piece of candy will come out, and so like you're like, oh, a piece of candy, and so then you keep pulling the lever, thinking that you're gonna get a piece of candy, but really you just keep getting kicked in the balls, and you end up infertile.
Yeah. So now I'm thinking, BDO players, we really have issues.
Oh, for sure.
Of course we have issues, but we also have the grindiest MMO out there. And we all know it. I know it. You know it. Everyone knows it. Bro, they have to add less to the game if there's RNG. We accepted this when we bought the game. Like that is
just like people complaining about progression is crazy to a video player. Wait, when they complain, it's like, oh, I need to click it 20 times for it to go up guaranteed. It's like, oh no, it's crazy to me.
Yeah, I totally forgot that being kicked in the balls was supposed to be a reward. I'm sorry. Yeah,
it feels good.
I lost sight of the. I'm sorry. I lost sight
because eventually you get that piece of candy.
I lost sight of video game. I remember.
Tears.
Yeah. Getting kicked in the balls is the whole point. I forgot. That's the
them
game enjoyment.
Them lowering the rate of downgrading would be a nice thing with the constant changes, right? They increase the constant change, but they increase the constant price by like 50%.
Bro. You're making it towards the wall, man. You're doing what Blue said.
I think it's 40% right now.
Oh, you're making it easier. You're making it easier for people to get in game. No. You're gonna make it magic content.
Jason,
it's just less.
What is your gear score number?
Blue warned you.
Jason,
bro, they're gonna
what's your gear score number?
Now.
Jason, what's your gear score number? Say it.
746.
746. Stop fucking complaining. You've had it this way the entire time. Bro, like
얌미얌님은 기어 스코어 어떻게 되세요? Let me ask 얌미. 얌미얌 기어 스코어 어떻게 되죠?
한 740 될 겁니다. 740.
740. 그럼 제이슨은 746. 얌미얌님도 740.
네.
What's yours?
Lie, bro.
730?
Yeah, we'll round up.
730?
I know I'm missing exactly 6 items. I missed 3 Ted armors,
730.
double Pandamorica earring, and then like the Splendid Alchemist zone, and then I'm missing.
So here's the thing. That's how they got me.
730. Yeah,
they got me to 703 very fast. Yeah. And after they stuck kicking me in the balls. They started kicking me in the balls.
Why did you expose me, pork
they're brainwashing me like, hey, you're having fun, baby. Yeah, you like that kick? Yeah, it's gonna kick you hard next month. Yeah. That's how they get you. Okay, I'm starting to understand now. Okay, yeah. Now I'm seeing the true merit of BDO. I think I can.
My Deboraka necklace is duo. I have accepted this through extensive therapy.
Gear score. I'm gonna pop every gear that I own.
I'm gonna be honest though.
It's part of the rite of passage, honestly.
Non-cron enhance everything I own.
Just to be clear, make sure I don't recommend you do that, but if you do that, you need to stream it in Discord for the homies because otherwise you're griefing. Do you understand?
That's true. I will stream it in Discord for the homies. And clip it. I swear. Well, I'm not gonna bring religious, but I promise I'm going to stop. That's the game, right? I'm going to enhance every piece of gear that I own without any crowning. That's the game. If it goes, it
Connor's
goes.
never gonna get Tet Amos. He's never
This
gonna
dude,
get Tet
this
for
dude
I'm
is
telling
so,
you.
this dude's gonna be
Never
sitting
gonna
on
reach
Pride
it.
Dead God for
here's
the
the
next fucking
But that's the
like
game. That's the
century.
game, right? And then I'll be lower gear.
No,
I'll be
you
under
wo-
700.
you live in
and then
NA.
I have more but I get new
Buddy,
content after that.
We live in the first world here. You can use cron stones, okay? Just use
No, but
cron
I don't want
stones.
to because using Cronstone is cheating the system, man. Like you said, the
I didn't
end
say
game
it
is
was
to
cheating the
did
system.
downgrade to below 700, and then I get to work months again to hit 700 something, and then I get to go back down again. That's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Bro, like, the
Welcome.
real end game is grinding for Tet Deboreka, sell it, so you have money to click your Deboreka twice with Cronstones. That is how you do it.
So that it degrades, right?
Exactly.
Exactly.
That has to be the most dented.
This is how
That
you do it.
has to be the
All
most dented
jokes
fucking
aside,
advice
he's
I've
actually right.
probably
진짜
ever heard.
빠르겠어.
So let me get this straight. You're gonna sell your extra Debo so that you can get another click, maybe
actually
another
right.
click on your first Debo. But hear me out. You could just click the second one and have a guaranteed second click.
Jason,
Any
you wanna answer that?
rebuttal? Defense? Hello? Like,
Jason, that's
there
towards
is
you.
no
Okay,
defense.
attention. That's at you, Jason.
What? No, wait, you lost
Look
the
at him
math somewhere,
process
bro.
it. It's
Okay,
gotta,
wait.
it's
So
gotta
what you're
turn.
doing on
You
you right
have
now is, right?
two Tet Debos, Jason. You have two Tet Debos,
Yes, I
okay?
have two Tet Debos, right?
You sell one of them, and then you try
Yes,
to click
I get-
it. You're
I
like,
get
now I have the
85 billion
crons.
from the
Now I
market.
can click. Yeah, now I can click pen twice, right? Right? That's your
Yes.
that's your go-to. Now I can click pen twice. But if it downgrades, now you can't click pen twice, right? But like, let's say it doesn't downgrade. So
But you
you're,
have crons to click.
gambling on trying to get 2 attempts. But what if, hear me out, we go back to step 1. Pull your dick back out of the VCR, lift the flap, pull it out, okay? We're back on step 1. You have 2 Tet Debos. What if you just tapped them both?
Then you have no Debo left.
But
hey, hey, hey,
bro.
I'll up one. 잠깐만요. Okay, I'll up one on Jason's take about the money, right? How about y'all become like Biohack and my friend Cavill, and you save up trillions, and you can just buy or tap whatever the fuck you want without caring. Hey, don't touch nothing until you have 5 trill sitting in your bank.
Deal.
Is that in game?
Done.
Is that in game?
Do that.
It'll take like what, like a year, 2 years? I don't know. If you're honestly grinding, just only off grinding, yeah.
Oh, only off grinding. Well,
grind.
let's do the calculation, shall we?
Yeah, can you do the calculation?
Mhm. Times 2,
얌얌님,
730.
한국에도 공 몇 개야? 트릴리면 하니 공 12개인 사람들 몇 명 계셔요?
공이 12개요?
네. 예를 들면 5, 그다음 그 뒤에 공 12개. 저희 서버에는 제가 아는 사람만 2명이 있거든요. 그래서
So-
저희가 의논하는 게 바보처럼 계속 강화를 하려다가 망하든지
So if you,
아무것도 안 하고 공 12개를 모아가지고 그걸로 다 사버리든지 마음 편하게 강화를 하든지.
yeah, Robert, that strategy is totally doable. Just go ahead and make
Oh, yeah?
6.9 billion silver every single day, no days off for the next 730 days.
5조? 5조나?
Oh, only 730 days, that's it?
Looking good. Yep.
Oh, easy. So 8 hours a day of grinding on average.
Oh,
6 to 8 hours a day of grinding,
Okay.
right?
6.9 billion divided by
Yeah.
how many hours of grinding did you say? 8?
Yeah.
8 hours of grinding. So you're
A day.
yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, so you're making 860 mil an hour every single hour
Okay,
of
that's
every
not bad.
single day
That's very
Yeah.
doable.
for the next
Yeah.
for the next
730
730 days. Correct. With no days
Next
off.
2 years.
Correct.
7 days a week, 2 years.
Correct. You're gonna have an internet
Oh,
connection for
easy.
that entire time. Yeah.
Easy. Yeah. Easy.
Okay.
That's
So
endgame video.
realistically, though, do we have anything else to add?
Right.
I would like one last thing,
Mhm.
and it's maybe like a bit of a summary or like what everybody thinks
That
the
is our
correct
Korean
move for
streamer.
PA would be, and I would like to like out of the
Yum
3
Yum.
options, right? And
Said it right.
if you could say like, because for me personally, I'm gonna say like, hey, I don't want either of the 3. I would like for them to go ahead into like balance packs every 2 weeks, look at classes, buff the weak ones, nerf the top ones. So that would be my preferred option. But if they want one of the 3, then I would like option 2, right? Can we get that from everyone? Like what you would like to see, and if that's not possible, then what of the 3 options that Pierre suggested? so that PA is like, if they do watch this entire thing at the end, they have an idea of what we actually want.
Oh, we already did this though. My chat
No,
voted
just
on
like a summary
option
quickly.
2.
The
I think the
recap.
majority of NA would vote for option 2, but we would like a
Yeah, but do you
hybrid.
like
like
option
realistic.
2? Or...
No, we don't. If
He's
we
settling,
if we're
they're
being
settling.
forced, yeah. If we're forced to pick one of those options, it is no other
Yeah.
way. It's option 2. But like any of the other hybrid options, or just changing resistances, whatever, would be a better option for
Yeah.
us.
Okay.
Yeah,
Option
also
2
I
is
really
settling,
like
but
this
you
one
want
from here.
resistance movement. It comes above option 2.
Mhm.
TLDR. Okay.
Yep.
Same with Jason, right?
Yep.
당연하죠.
Yeah, I
형님
would,
이제
like
이제 마지막으로 약간 다시 원래 토픽으로 돌아가자면
음흠.
1, 2, 3번 중에 이제 패치에서 1, 2, 3번 중에서 한국 측에서는 가장 그나마 선호하는 게 2번이었던 거죠. 그렇죠? 그나마
그죠.
꼭 선택해야 된다면.
네.
그리고 2번보다 더 선호를 하는 거는 선택이 없었지만 저항력을 없애는 거 PVP에서 맞죠?
네, 맞죠.
맞죠? Okay, then
대체적으로
we are
다 그거는 동의했어요.
okay. 대체적으로 다 동의했다. Okay, so he agrees. He is in the exact same page with KR. He from what he sees, obviously it's not going to be all of KR, but from what he's seeing with other streamers and other people in his chat, he's saying option 2 is settling, but what trumps option 2 is just removing the resistance and tweaking PvP in smaller ways. So every region that's present here is agreeing with that. Minus Nina
WDVOs.
and Japan. And what other, I don't know if there are more
SEA.
video servers. And SEA, yes.
Yeah,
South
SEA.
Asia, yes.
and South America exists as well, I believe, right? They have their own server, no? SA?
Do they?
I'm pretty sure.
I think
I feel like
SA, MENA, and SEA are missing here.
Yeah.
And Japan. So we're missing 4 regions.
And the second class citizens on console, yes. But yeah, okay, all right, that'll be a wrap for
Yep.
the United Nations podcast this time.
We
I
have
am
6
Blue
people.
Squadron. We'll go through do an outro real quick. I'll try and give shout outs to everybody, at least in my chat here. Again, I'm Blue Squadron. You guys can find me at all these the socials right here. I have new YouTube videos every day. Again, guys, I would pass this. This is gonna go up on YouTube as like a podcast thing. I would pass it around. The more chances you pass it around, or it gets to the forums, it goes on Invun, etc., the higher chance we have of Perlibus actually seeing it and taking action on it. So, all right, Jason.
Jason, you can find me on twitch.tv/ChampionJason. I appreciate the invite, Blue, as always. Thank you for having me. And
Yeah.
thank you very much, Brobe, for translating. It's
Tell them who you are.
actually doing the Lord's work here.
Yeah.
Giga Chad Valk PvP player
Yeah.
in EU.
Dick just hangs out.
Yeah.
Just walks around.
Yeah.
That's not a lance.
Very young.
Mhm.
Blue, this is a very young man. You know his age?
Wait, well, how old is he? Wait,
I was
how
very
old
surprised when I heard his age.
How old are you?
22.
No, Jason, you tell him.
I'm 22.
I can
He's
already
22,
see
bro.
his hair hasn't fallen off his head yet, so I get that.
And I've been playing BDO for 6 years, and my head is 3 years, 7 years actually. by
Oh,
now.
you haven't
And
been a
it's-
shot caller.
And my head,
It
my
is
hair's
what it
still
is.
bro.
I'll do an outro for Yambiam and also let him do it in Korean, yeah?
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we
yeah,
also
go ahead.
had included Yambiam, who's a very well-known, we call him the president in the on Korea server. We call him 검통령, which translates to like BD president or BD resident, like black. Oh no, whoa, desert president. Okay.
Good save, man.
Okay, no, it's 검통령. 대통령 is president. 검 is from 검은 사막 BDO. We call him the
저
검통령.
그런 사람 아닙니다.
So he is the 검통령 of Korea, the most kind of voiced out and the most neutrally liked across the board of the Korean streamers, and he's very heavy in PvE and PvP, very well known. 근데 이제 제가 영어로 해주시니까 자기 소개 한번 해주세요. 이제 꿈무렵이라 얌얌님 한번 인사 겸 한번 해주세요, 한국말로.
한국말로 하면 되나요?
네.
자기소개시 그럼 안녕하세요. 저는 검은사막 방송을 하고 있는 스트리머 얌비암입니다.
네.
주로 PVE, PVP 컨텐츠 전부 다 하고 있고 네, 약간
He's talking about
필터
PvE
줄
and
세우는 거
PvP
좋아하는
content.
그런 사람입니다.
I understand Korean.
Yeah. Yes, and I was the newbie to the game, but translator, because I couldn't find anyone better. Translator, Brober TV, or you can call me Justin Alaman. I stream on Twitch too. And yeah, thank you so much for always having us here and having a great time with all these opinions. And I'm very happy to be a part of this and being able to translate to the best of my abilities to make sure that there's a decent enough communication between the different language barriers of the regions Korea, NA, and EU. Thank you so much for having me. Thank
You're
you,
doing
Blue.
amazing.
And thank you, Yam and Jason. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Bro Bear, thanks so much, man. You do an amazing job every time you're here.
Thank you.
You're a hero. Jason, again, thanks for
Good.
coming on. I really appreciate you making the effort. I know it's kind of early
course.
there. Hopefully we have a few more representatives in the future. I'm going to try to get an Asia representative in here as well. I'll probably ask Briggs and see if he'll come on.
What reason is Briggs?
He's Asia, SEA.
Oh, Southeast Asia. Got
they
it.
like it when you say Asia. They get kind of mad when you say SEA because it's combined now.
Oh, is it?
Oh, true. It's,
Wait, isn't Korea also
SDAX Taiwan.
technically Southeast Asia? Because
No, KR different. KR different.
different.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the server is different.
Yeah.
But like globally, wouldn't we also be in that region or no?
Yeah.
Am I dumb? I'm living in Korea and I don't know this.
Back to
It
forth.
doesn't
Great,
matter.
Hugo.
Sorry, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay, so Asia. Okay. Briggs. Do we need a translator for Briggs too?
No, he
'Cause
can speak
it's-
English.
Yeah, they speak English usually.
He speaks English. You'll like him. He's a character.
Okay.
He's a character.
Okay.
I'll see if Briggs can come on next time.
I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Is there?
Okay, guys. Thanks so much for
peace out,
everything.
guys.
You guys are absolute specimens. Until next time when there's big changes. Yeah. Bye now.
Bye,
Bye
guys.
goodbye. Goodbye
Love you
now.
guys.
Goodbye.
Love you,
Thank you.
Blue.
Goodbye
Love
now.
you, Jason.
Love
야민이
you.
사랑해요. Bye, guys.
Love you.
Meow.